Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Welcome one and all to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. In advance, thank you for choosing to hang with us for the next hour and some change as we bring you into our world of video games. And as always, I have the pleasure of being joined by some fellow Dukes, but I'm also joined by special guests as well. I want to introduce them first. Chris, how are you doing this good week?
I'm doing all right. How are you all doing today?
I can't complain.
I was grooving to the intro music there.
I bob to it every single week, so I'm glad you like it.
Courtesy of clams.
And speaking of which, and of course, I do have to introduce my other Dukes of Gaming. Starting first and foremost, he longs for a media of yesteryear, coming to you live from Virginia. Damn, the Duke of Nostalgia, Taylor. How are you, man?
Doing good. Had a good Thanksgiving week. Worked a lot more than I wanted to, but it was all worth it for a couple days off. It's the 90s hustle, you know. It's the nostalgia I aim for. Is more work. If I could go back in the coal mines, I would. I'm nostalgic for coal mines and child labor.
Wow. Come on, strong.
Top 3 intro for sure. And of course, second foremost, he is a Nintendo hater that plays his games on the hardest mode. He's the Duke of Education, Alfredo. How are you doing, good sir?
I would be better if I, went first. I'm a little bit angry that Clams took my spot and, being introduced first, but I'll let it slide this one time because his intro was so good. Thank you.
And you'll get over it. We got some good stuff. We have good stuff this week. You'll be fine. Third foremost, of course, West Coast represent. He is the tallest Duke by a wide margin. Game design is his passion, hence why he is the Duke of Design. Ben.
Hello, yes, I'm the Duke of Design. I got to do my disclaimer as always. I work for 2K at Cloud Chamber on the fourth entry in the BioShock series, but my thoughts are my own on this podcast, and don't ask me about BioShock. Otherwise, if I had told you anything, I'd have to kill you. But I do have to ask, since we've got a special guest here, Chris. Chris joins us from the 1 Hour, One Decision podcast. Tell me a little bit about this, because I'm new on the scene to Game Pass, and I really got to hear a little bit about this podcast.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because Our podcast, Tom and I have done this podcast now almost 2 years, and what we do is we play a random game on Game Pass, one that Tom and I neither have played, and we will play it for an hour. That's the rules. And after that hour, we talk about it and decide if we want to keep playing it or not after that. So our thoughts are essentially that most games, I get it, a lot of these narrator driven games can take a little bit longer, but most games should at least give you the premise of the core mechanics and stuff like that within that first hour. And if it's fun or not, you should be able to at least get an idea of that. So that's kind of what we do, what we've been doing.
I gotta ask you, what's been the worst hour you spent?
Yeah, do you force yourself to play for an hour regardless?
Yes, 100%. Okay. We have to play for the hour. There's a game that's coming out very soon that is probably the worst game I've had. I've played, though a lot of people seem to like it. I'll just say it like that.
But to get the answer to that, you better stay tuned to their podcast.
Yeah, but otherwise, I am not a fan of roguelites, and
I love them.
So that's kind of those go. There's a lot of roguelikes on Game Pass, so we've hit a lot of them too. So it's been kind of painful, but there's been some that's the one thing we try to stay positive in our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what game, we got to make sure. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have worked hard on these games and stuff like that. So we're gonna respect that. So I will say some good stuff on top of the stuff that I don't like. So yeah, but it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah. Firsthand, I've listened to 2 of your episodes so far, and they've both been fantastic. So everyone should definitely take a listen. I did hear, though, that a friend of the show, Dave Jackson from Tales from the Backlog, he gave you a suggestion to play a game that he said was great, which you said hard. I think the game was Hard Space Shipbreaker. You didn't have very good things to say. So verdict is no, right?
No. I actually liked it. Tom was the one that he actually wasn't a fan of it because he felt like it was like work.
Yeah,
it was like work. I just thought it was just a very mellow, chill out vibe kind of game that you can just kind of zone out and do.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just a drone or whatever. I mean, that's the problem right now. But
hey, you like what you like.
Yeah.
To the coal mines with you.
To the coal mines
along with clams.
Well, I don't know about coal mines, but let's talk about video games. And we have to always start with our age-old gamer question. What have we been playing this week? I know we're making you talk a lot, Chris, but I kind of want you to go first. I want to hear what you've been playing this week, man.
Oh, man. So actually, another friend, podcast friend, suggested that I play ChinaTown Detective Agency. It's been one of the games I really wanted to try out.
Yeah.
And then I've been slowly enjoying my time with Cyberpunk, and it's been a blast. I enjoy that game so much. It's just CD Projekt Red just knows how. They have such a great way of storytelling and stuff like that, and the characters that you interact with all the time. It was bugs and all. It's still a great game. But and then finally I got to try out Pentiment, and I'm only up to Act 2. It's a slow burn, but once you get to the part where things start to actually happen, you're like, oh wow, okay, I'm really into it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, a lot of reading.
Yeah, I think at least 4 of us have tried Pentiment. Clams, did you try it?
I've not. No.
I know Alfredo did 15.
Yep.
15
Ben whole minutes.
Finished it. I did 2 hours of it. What is our initial thoughts? Because I mean, this is getting Game of the Year buzz. I know it's not. We're gonna get to our Game of the Year nominees for the Game Awards. I think this missed that cutoff date, but this is getting a lot of Game of the Year love. Is at least what you all have played so far, is that kind of matching that, or is anybody having a good experience or bad experience with it?
Well, I will say with my whole 15 minutes played, I will say I second what Chris said in that in the little bit of time I did spend with the game, it felt like it was going to be a very slow burn. Granted, obviously I didn't play a whole lot, but it was moving a little too slow where I could tell it definitely took inspiration for those from the 90s point and click / visual novel type adventure kind of games, where like you're gonna get deep into this story, but there's gonna be a lot of different pieces that you have to put together. There's gonna be a lot of different text that you have to read. You might have to go. I was getting vibes of going back and forth to find out specific information, or talk to people in a certain order in order for the next chain to start. I was getting those kind of vibes, and just because of that, because there's so many games that I do have that I bought during Black Friday that I need to actually get to. I was like, okay, I will come back to this game because I like games like these, walking sims, visual novels, adventures kind of things. I will get to it, but I don't think now is the time. And it wasn't giving me any, sparks of you have to play this now kind of deal. But maybe if I played for 2 hours, then I would get to that point where I would be like, oh, gotta keep playing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm about 2 hours in. I like it. I'm not seeing game of the year for me personally, but I am very intrigued by it because it's basically like reading a book.
Yeah.
But a really stylized book.
It's like Breaking Bad, where you have to give it a little bit of time to flesh out. But there's this one moment where you just everything kind of falls into place. Like, oh wow, okay, all the things that I've done so far really affect what's happening.
Yeah, Ben, I know you've beat it.
Yeah, that's right.
What are and obviously it's one of the games you've been playing this week. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I got pretty sucked into Pentiment right off the back of Norco, so I was in point and click heaven for the past week. Both really excellent games, but Pentiment. Third, or I guess fourth on the slow burn aspect. This game is a slow burn, and then it picks up pace, and then it slows down again, and then it picks up pace, and then it really slows down again right before the end. So it's you kind of got to weather those storms. In some way, it's good that there's a rhythm to the story in and of itself. But if you're not in for a bunch of reading, you're not gonna love this game. I think from what I've been saying, that it is a pretty polarizing game. You either kind of love it or hate it, and I fell on love it. I knew enough about the game and about the developers, Obsidian and Josh Sawyer is the game director. You guys know Fallout New Vegas is one of my favorite games of all time. So I knew there was something that was going to speak to me in this game. I just had to kind of stick with it. And it didn't take long for me. I appreciated the historical aspect. 2, I appreciated the religious aspect of it. And it was kind of refreshing. And also an interesting kind of contrast to Norco, which also has a very heavy religious bent to it. Mm-hmm. I just got really. So this is one of I can say this is definitely one of my favorite point and click games that I've ever played. I think it's a cross between a point and click and a visual novel, because it really is. It falls less on the side of puzzle solving and more on the side of dialogue and dialogue choices, and that for me is awesome. That's good stuff. Point and click games always lose me, especially the classic LucasArts ones. They always begin to lose me with the puzzles. I'm there for the story and for the environment and the music or whatever else it is, and then the puzzles kind of get in my way, the way of my enjoyment with that. Whereas Pentiment is all about, okay, how are you going to invest your time? Who are you going to speak to in order to develop a case against a certain person in this kind of whodunit caper that repeats over ages. It really struck me as while not something totally novel on the gameplay front, the setting really carried it there, and then the strength of the writing helped it last across those 15 hours or whatever it took. It's a pretty long game, probably longer than it needs to be. But yeah, if there are any major gripes that I have with it, that third act feels significantly slower than the other two, and that makes it even harder to push through to the end on a very slow game already.
Interesting. Well, I have two questions, if you don't mind
Yeah.
me asking. So, because you guys mentioned some things that aren't exactly striking my fancy when it comes to visual novels, but for me, when it comes to these types of games, what turns it around is the strength of the story, like you're saying. Are the twists and turns on a level for this narrative driven game, are they, enough worth it to keep you invested in those 15 hours? Or is it like, one twist and then, like you said, it's going to be a lull for 5 hours and then another twist and then another 5 hours? Is it like, are those waves like even? Like, are the highs consistent to the lows, I guess is what I'm asking.
Just from my perspective, so like using Danganronpa as a kind of comparison point, one thing that I really liked that Pentiment did was that it never let you know if you were right. You just had for a long time throughout the game.
I hate that.
You make a choice about who is guilty, and for me, for both the people that I picked in Act 1 and Act 2, I was pretty sure I was wrong. they were just the people that I had the most evidence against. So I was like, well, I had the most evidence against this person. I guess I kind of have to go with them. But yeah, I was pretty sure I was wrong with both of them, and that feeling kind of like sinks in, and then the fact that it takes place over, there's like time skips, so it takes place over a long period of time, and you kind of get to see the ramifications of the damning of the person that you chose, right? So that's something that I really appreciated. It didn't like wrap up neatly at the end of each chapter the way that Danganronpa would. I also appreciated that they were pretty generous in how much they allowed you to do, but you couldn't do everything for sure. There's no way to do everything in each chapter in order to get all the clues to see the full picture of the thing.
So this is definitely a choices matter type of game.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to decide where you're going to invest your time. You can see a lot of things. You can put together a fairly complete picture, which I liked. It's not like you're going to be, unless you like really waste your time. I guess there's probably a way in which you could just fundamentally waste your time, but you're going to have like a maybe 70% complete picture of what happened here. And then, so then you have to work on with that. So yeah, that's, for me, that was enough to keep me moving through, because it does slow down at the beginning of each act. It slows down again to kind of reintroduce you to the current state of the world and the characters therein before the next murder happens. But I wouldn't say that there were like twists and turns throughout the game. There is a mystery behind it all. But how much
surprises.
That is
There's some surprises though, for sure.
Yeah,
like even that first act, like, oh,
is it kind of like Agatha? I mean, I played 2 hours, but is it kind of like Agatha Christie, like in terms of like when you get deeper in the story, like that level of twist? Because those stories, as far as I've read and watched, they don't have many twists, but they have major ones towards the climax that completely change how you viewed the entire story. So is this kind of more like that?
It's more on that vibe where it requires your investment in the characters and the situation over time. So
Gotcha.
I would say yes, generally, yeah.
I can't wait. I'm 2 hours in. It's about 20 hours, right? Give or take.
Yeah, I think my playtime was something like 15 hours.
Okay.
It depends on how fast you read. I'm actually a pretty slow reader, so I imagine you could probably get through it. Most people could get through it quicker than 15 hours. I wasn't trying to like go down every corner. I didn't try to do all the different types of things you can do each chapter. I just played, a natural playthrough.
Please tell me you get to at least know if you were right by the end of the game. Please. Please tell me that's true.
I'm not gonna say.
You gotta find out, Alfredo.
There goes 15
Are you playing on PC?
I did play on PC. Yeah, this is one that would be awesome for streaming and would be great on the Switch, but it's not going to come to the Switch probably.
I might just try it on my phone. Like I was playing a bit on my Steam Deck and I wasn't getting the right results. So I might just try it on my phone. That might be a little better.
Yeah, I've tried on my. I mean, the only thing is with the cloud, especially if you're using the touchscreen controls, sometimes the controls kind of overlap the screen, like what the text and stuff like that. So I wish there was a way you can adjust the size of that stuff, but
We'll get there.
Yeah,
I just checked my final game time was 13 hours.
Okay.
Oh, not bad. Okay.
So I should be finished with it by the middle of the week. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Maybe we'll have a spoiler discussion about it. But enough about Pentiment. I want to hear about Weird West because I feel like this game came out really earlier in the year, and it kind of came and went. I really am curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm only about 2 hours into Weird West so far. I really like it. There's a good amount of system in Z kind of stuff going on.
Systemisms.
System, yeah, exactly. Well, as you guys may or may not know, Weird West is the latest game from a new studio, or I guess first game from this new studio, Wolf-Eye, which is founded by a couple of the people who worked at Arcane prior. One of the founders of Arcane, actually, Rafael Colantonio. His prior game was Prey, which you guys know I'm a massive fan of Prey. So Weird West is kind of a smaller scale attempt to realize some of those same immersive sim aims. And it's cool. The setting is interesting. There's definitely some jank to it. There's definitely some jank to kind of overcome there. But I'm enjoying it pretty thoroughly. I don't have much to say because, again, I'm only 2 hours in. But I can see how there's a good setup here of like this collision of systems that's going to make for some pretty interesting scenarios. And what I like is that there's a Dishonored or Hitman like kind of, okay, well, you have your goal. Here's your goal. How are you going to make it happen? And then it lets you figure it out for yourself. Those are my favorite kind of games. So Weird West has that in spades, but in a top-down, more reminiscent, really most reminiscent of the early Fallout games, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, to me, in its structure. But it's also got it's got a twin-stick shooter-ish kind of gameplay layout to it. So yeah, that's Weird West.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, yeah, we actually played this for the show as well. The game is hard. It's pretty hard, especially like if you're just going in there, you're like guns blazing. Like you will be punished by just doing that because like the fact that you have to like utilize the environment to the best of your ability and stuff like that too is super important. But it was at least the setup was what they start off with a bang, right? With literally your family your kid getting killed, and then your
husband getting kidnapped.
It was just a little bit of a twist right there, right? Usually it's the other way around or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of Fallout 4, right?
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I played this game a little bit too. Another game that I probably played like an hour of it. And again, it was wrong timing for me. I think it came out around, when did it come out? Like maybe around Elden Ring time, or it was around a time where
it was like April. Yeah.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there where, there were just other games to be played. But if you're saying, Chris, this game is hard, then maybe I need to get back into it because I really enjoy tough games. So I'll come back around to it. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as you guys can probably tell, I'm trying desperately to have more than 4 games to talk about by the time we get to our Game of the Year discussion. So I'm playing more games from this year so that I have a more complete list. And the last game that I played this week was Norco, on Alfredo's recommendation, of course. And damn, do I love this game! This is fantastic game. Again, on the strength of the narrative here, and really the pixel art presentation too. I think really ties it together. It's a pretty tight 5 to 7 hour point and click mystery game where it really, again, rests on the dialogue and on your slow discovery of this rundown, seedy, not actually post-apocalyptic New Orleans, but like on the verge of apocalyptic New Orleans. You know, it's like it almost makes it better because it's like sort of like Blade Runner, where it's like, man, this world is deeply sick.
Splash of
deeply,
Cyberpunk.
deeply sick. Yeah, right. So yeah, this game is awesome, and it goes to some batshit wonky places that you just kind of got to experience for yourself. It's also very moody, and you would get that sense from the trailers, but it's also like very funny too, very silly in a lot of ways, which I didn't expect, and I also appreciated it because they really cut through the kind of dour presentation. But yeah, Norco, definitely recommend. And Clams, I feel like this might be one for you.
Wild West or Weird West?
Norco specifically.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Also
on my
on Game
Xbox.
Pass.
It's been on my Xbox all year.
Need to get
'cause
Game
it's-
Pass.
Yeah, I need to. You do.
I do.
Some
Chris,
hidden
have you played
gems on
Norco
there.
yet?
I have not.
You got to put it on your list.
It looks good. It looks interesting. Point and click.
Yeah.
I do like my point and click adventure games. So.
Ben's list is like an advertisement for Game Pass.
Right.
It is. I'm playing a lot of Game Pass right now, as you can tell.
He's been compromised by Phil Spencer.
Great value.
Well, for me, my games this week, it's basically Kratos surrounded by anime girls and demons and everything. I finished up God of War. That I just did like a probably 6-hour stretch to finish it out. And
What's your final hour count?
I haven't looked. I didn't even know there was an hour count thing on there.
If you save it, it tells you.
If I were to guess, I probably finished it in like 17 hours.
Dang, that is quick.
I'm on
I thought he was
20
going to
hours
say
right now.
minutes.
Not yet. That's next
Oh,
week.
Well, I also finished it, and I was double that, 34.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah, I'm on 20 hours, and I don't feel like I'm anywhere close to the end.
I started mainlining it eventually. It's not that I'm down on it. It literally met my expectations. Didn't exceed them. Didn't blow me away. I thought the ending, rushed is a bad word, but I would say things wrapped up really quickly in a way that I'm not the biggest fan of. And because it felt like it was gonna be like Infinity War, like Endgame, like kind of wrap up. And it just wrapped up like a normal MCU movie. And I was like, oh, okay.
Did it sort of feel like they needed a third game in there?
Absolutely. Like
I
think this duology, I think that's what you call a twofer, right? Yeah, this duology, I don't think. Like obviously we'll see where they go with it in the future, but I think this story should have been stretched out a little further. And I still will go to the bank that the first game didn't do enough to advance the story. And I feel like this game paid the price of that because this game was required to do a lot as far as the world building was concerned. And I think ultimately, it didn't collapse on. I still think it's a game of the year. Now, it's one of my games of the year for sure. But I do think that once you roll credits, the story to me, didn't satisfy me in the same way when it began.
Yeah,
but still, great game. One of the best stories I've experienced in a video game. Still really good. Still had a really good time with it. Just didn't really like the ending.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about this game without doing the whole spoilers thing. So eventually we will have a spoilers cast, and we'll probably talk all about it during Game of the Year. But I also finished it up this week. Came in at 34 hours. I did all the side quests and stuff, and I think the side quests are to its benefit, because I did pretty much every side quest, and the lore and the world building is there in the side quests especially. And I think they did a good job in implementing what they had into the main story, because you go to places that I didn't think you would ever go. And in some places I think it's too long. But I think it was a good ending. It wasn't great. I definitely agree with what Thomas said. It wasn't Infinity War, but like it was good, and they did a lot of.
The problem is, for me, it felt like we were headed towards that. Like that. I wouldn't have a like. I don't hate Ant-Man's ending just because it's not Infinity War. You know, like it is what it is. But it's the fact that like the whole game. It's like Ragnarok is coming, and then obviously I don't think it's any spoilers. Say when Ragnarok comes, it's like, okay, that was like a level. though.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Oh, no,
but
Yikes.
they could have done more, but I do feel part of it was that, this is technically a PS4 game, and they could have done a lot more if it was next gen only, to be completely honest. But that's a whole nother conversation.
We'll have a spoiler
yeah.
cast about this. We will for sure
Good
have
game,
to have a
good
conversation about it. Good game. Let's talk about a bad game. Let's talk about Honkai Impact. Now, I don't know why I was suggested from one of my friends to play this game. I'm looking at you. I know you. I told you to watch this because you told me to play this game and talk about it on the podcast. This is a horrible game.
What is it?
Jerome, this is a horrible. I'm talking to him directly. This is a horrible game.
He's like, hold up.
This game,
Call
this
him
is
out.
made by the people who made Genshin Impact. And it's the game they made before Genshin Impact.
Oh.
Oh.
And
It's a phone game?
No, it was originally a phone game, but it's on PC, and I was like, all right, I'll download it. It was sold to me as Genshin Impact, but with Bayonetta mechanics, and I'm like, oh, I'm in. Like I'm in immediately. Like that's a
Good sell.
that is a great sell. Thank you. That's a great sell. And it's not that it's not that. It's just I never appreciated how good Bayonetta combat is, because when I see some random foot used in a combination like how they do in Bayonetta and it doesn't feel satisfying, it's so disappointing. I thought that from a story perspective it's shit, but I kind of expected that. I just wanted good combat. And it's a mobile game, so I don't know what I expected. Jerome, I'm sorry I gave you a chance with this one.
And
he's put in 200 hours in this game.
You're now on an even smaller FBI watch list of people who played Genshin Impact, and now this.
I definitely put in more time in this game than I should have. I probably put in like 5 hours, which is less time than I put into my next game, Pokemon Scarlet.
I'm intrigued.
So I'm just gonna be straight up.
No.
I'm gonna be straight up, and I hope we don't get taken off for this. I didn't buy this game.
You got it when you got it because they leaked it 2 weeks early on 4chan. And you download.
That might be the link.
Wait, that was
I
an
got.
option?
Because look, here's why. It wasn't because I wanted to be a thief. It was because I heard this game runs horribly on Switch. So I'm like, maybe my PC has a better chance. Like maybe the 3070 can take it. Maybe. I download the emulator, get it running. And for 3 hours, I'm not gonna lie, I'm having the time of my life. I'm actually like, this is like definitively one of my favorite Pokemon games. Now, I'm not the biggest Pokemon expert, but I'm having a great time with this game.
Sure.
I save, I log out, come back in, my save is gone. And now I am really contemplating, because 3 hours is a long time. And 3 hours in the beginning of a Pokemon game is different than 3 hours in any other game, period. Because for some reason, there's not an option in the Pokemon game to say, I played a Pokemon game before. You don't have to tell me how to run. But just from what I played, that's not the game's fault. I like the game. I think that it's a step back from Arceus, but I really liked Arceus.
Yeah.
But I really do think this is a step in the right direction. This is definitively the third Pokemon game ever made.
Fair.
So this is the one main line that doesn't feel iterative compared to the other ones. Like obviously Arceus is more of a side game, so it's not like one of the main lines. This is not just red and blue, like diamond and pearl. This is not that. This is a true different game, and I have to appreciate that. I respect that. I think the grades that it's gotten, it has like a 70-something Metacritic. I'm like, how the hell the Sword and Shield, like it's like Sword and Shield is one of the highest rated Pokemon. Like in the
96%. Yeah.
Like how is that in the 90s? That game runs like shit too. Like how is that in the 90s and this is in the 70s? This is the first next step I've seen Pokemon take in the mainline series in a very long time. Yeah. So I got to give respect to it. And I know Clams wants to talk about it. I just want to mention a smaller scale game really quick. Demon Slayer, been meaning to buy it. It was on sale. It's played on my Steam Deck. Great fighting game. If you like Demon Slayer, highly recommend it. If you just want some short, sweet experience, it's not a long game at all. Beat it in like 6 hours. Unlocked all the fighters and everything. If you love the Naruto Ninja Storm games, it's made by the same developers. So it's, has that quality to it. Cutscenes look just like the Demon Slayer anime. So if you want kind of an abridged version of the story, highly recommend it. But enough about Demon Slayer. Let's get back to Pokemon because I know we have a couple dukes who want to talk about Pokemon as well.
Is it my turn? Okay.
Yours.
I'm going to actually start with Sonic Frontiers because I think Sonic Frontiers is going to help me describe why I like Pokemon.
Okay.
Sonic Frontiers, Sonic game, is like a fan-made Family Guy game in Unity engine.
Or in Dreams.
There
were a lot of those in Dreams.
Yeah. It's like a fan-made horrible concept game. It's just like, so open world, everyone looks at Breath of the Wild and they're like, oh, I want to do that. I could make a game like that. And Sonic tried it because they saw it and they're like, that's just a video game. I love video games. I'm going to make a video game. We own Sonic. Let's do it. We're Sega. We've made good games in the past. And it is... I understand. I actually understand, because my first question is, why would you want to make an open world Sonic? What's the appeal?
$signs.
Right.
But actually, I think mechanically, the fact that Sonic goes fast should be a good thing in an open world game. Because one of the biggest problems I have with a lot of open world games is the map size can become sluggish. You are traversing over wide tracts of land and it's taking forever. Sonic doesn't have that problem. He just goes fast. I just wish they made his controls actually responsive, because they are not. You can go very fast over a very barren landscape. There is nothing in this game. It is empty. It is empty. But you can go very fast through it. But you can't turn. The story is convoluted like Sonic. I don't even know what's going on. Eggman found a red gem or something. It's not a Chaos Emerald. It's like a robot. There's like an AI, and it's all you're in a video game, but you're not. It's just it's
anime rules.
It's a whole waste of a Sonic. It's a whole Sonic that they wasted, because this game came out after Sonic in the movies were slam dunks during the pandemic. Slam dunk movies. People loved that shit. Sonic was at its peak for a long time. Since Sonic was at its peak, movies come out, people are like, Sonic's cool. I liked Sonic. And then they make a really stinky doo-doo game. But they hyped it. They really hyped it up too much. And I remember watching streams on IGN months ago about how they were playing early tests of Sonic, and they were like, oh, it handles really good. And I'm like, there's no way, right? So I go in thinking it will handle really good. It does not. There's the auto locking feature, which is a staple in Sonic games. Locking onto things doesn't work half the time. And it's important in this game because you're running fast over very changeable landscapes. You don't know what the next cliff is going to hold. So you want to be able to just auto lock quickly. You can't, because it doesn't work half the time. I don't like Sonic. It's a very bad game. It genuinely, the first time I bought a video game in a long time and felt like I wasted $60. The lady at Walmart actually cried when I brought it up to the checkout, because the guys in the back couldn't figure out how to unlock it. So they're like, bring it to the front. Right at the front, the lady's like, oh, games here used to be $50, now they're $60. My son plays video games. And I'm like, oh God, what did I
Now
do?
they're 70, lady.
She's like a whole price change behind.
Right.
Oh man, she's really gonna lose it when she hears about
She's
Right.
PS5 and
Yeah.
Xbox games.
Oh my
Right.
god! I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I didn't put this in my list of games. I played an hour of it on my little cousin's Switch, so I
Sure.
felt like that was not the best way to play this game.
On
It
the
felt
Switch?
horrible. Yeah, on Switch. So I can only
Yeah,
imagine,
probably.
compared to what it is on PlayStation 5. I'm sure it looks a lot nicer there.
It doesn't
Would
look
I-
nice. No, like one of the biggest things about it is it doesn't look nice at all.
I was
Like
it's gonna matter.
Sonic looks nice, but the environment looks
Mhm.
mucky.
Oh.
It looks mucky and gross, and it's all the same 3 assets reused, all the same tree. Like people complain about Pokemon's trees. At least they have different branches. Sonic is just the
The
same.
branches are different.
The branches are different in Pokemon. In Sonic, it's the same tree copy pasted. It's the same rock copy pasted. It's the same puddle of water copy pasted. The puddles of water look hyper real, like they made it in a good game engine. They just didn't make it. They used a bunch of plug-in assets to make it.
The problem I have with it, to me, it's definitively the best 3D Sonic game. It's not saying, it's not saying much. I'm not.
Oh,
All
we
of
gotta
Sonic's
play.
legacy is 3D at this point. The
But
first
like,
games don't
if I
even play
really,
anymore.
because what I played of it so far, I'm like, this is at least better than the majority of the Sonic 3D games. I played them all. I've suffered through. Maybe not, it's definitely better than the lowest of those games.
What about Sonic Adventure? I heard that was good.
that was good. I was about to say, like, how
The
you
thing
take that
is,
away
like,
from
I
them?
don't think, like, I feel like if you play Sonic Adventure now, you're gonna be like, I played it a couple years ago, and I was like, oh my god, this is a terrible game. Like,
Bradley Britt's right. It looks like a modded Death Stranding Sonic. It is the Death Stranding of Sonic, but without anything to do. It looks like it's murky. It looks like there should be swamp shadows piling out of the ground.
is the open world like? Because I haven't seen the whole world. Is it more like Zelda's open world, or is it? Did you play Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, I played Odyssey.
Is the open world more like not like that where it's like like there's different worlds you can pick, or it's just all one world?
It's all basically one world. It's not like either of those though, because those games had some soul. They felt like they were designed by a team of artists.
Clamps.
Not Soul.
No, I mean, it looks horrible. It looks abysmal. It plays abysmal. It makes me sad. I can't remember the Rise of Lyric was the last Sonic game I played, I think, which was on the
Yikes.
Wii U. Well, not including Sonic, the
Mania?
good one, Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania I played. Love Sonic Mania, but that's
That's more of an outlier. than
that's a
anything.
whole different game. That's Sonic 3D exists in a different universe than Sonic 2D. But Sonic Rise of Lyric was the last game I played on the Wii U, and I literally got locked. I got soft locked in the first level, like in the tutorial. And I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad at that point, but at least it was cartoony. It looked kind of goofy and silly, and everything was colorful and bright, and it looked like a cartoon. So I was more forgiving of that, and I think I'd prefer that game to this because this just looks bland. It looks bland.
Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Should Sonic just stick to 2D?
It should. I don't think anyone disagrees. Raise your hand if you
I
disagree.
think the sales disagree. I think that's the problem. Like
Here's
I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I do think the 3D games sell a lot more than the 2D games.
Yeah, absolutely, because there are weirdos. There are weirdos out there.
I mean, it's hard to do. That's why. Have you seen a Flash game? Like
I have
the
seen
Flash?
Flash.
No, the Flash.
Oh.
Like you haven't seen a guy that goes really fast in 3D, right?
No, I haven't. No.
It's hard. It's hard to do
hard.
that. I would think that because like your world has to render fast enough for your character, and then it's like, what do you just run past your boss or whatever? Like you have to like lock them in or whatever. I don't know. Especially in an open world game, it would be like there's a lot of things you have to consider when you're doing that, I would think. But
Absolutely.
true.
I just think the Sonic is at this stage. I don't know what, because I feel like this was the best thing you could have possibly done from a concept perspective with Sonic, because it makes sense to do a open world game and focus on the combat like that makes sense to me. But obviously, the Sonic team is not known to make good games recently.
Sure.
And so I think this game in you're Alfredo knows I'm going this. I think Platinum could make a good Sonic game. I think if they actually outsource Sonic to another studio, I think you could breathe life into the franchise. The problem is Sega's never going to do that because Sonic Frontiers, I assure you, has probably made them a good chunk of money.
I don't know how the sales have been for Sonic Frontiers, and I kind of don't care. But yeah, I guess what I wanted to bring up was Pokemon being better than that, which is shocking, frankly, especially since Sonic was so hyped up. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because I too, like you, Thomas, downloaded it, maybe not legally. Originally, and then
dirty thieves.
Dirty thieves. It showed up on the internet a couple weeks early to when it released, and I downloaded it. I tried it out for a second. Didn't get too far. Saw all the glitches showing up. I saw all the glitches showing up on like the forums, and people were like, "Oh, the game's broken. It's bad. It doesn't work. They didn't beta test this." And then someone said there was going to be a day one patch on the Switch, and I was like, "Okay." I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll play the game on the Switch with the day one patch. And I did. And I like playing video games, and I like looking for bugs immediately. It's one of the first things I'm drawn to is trying to input overload or break boundaries. And you definitely can in Pokemon, but it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. It was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Which the last two games, Diamond and Pearl and Arceus, it was a little easier to kind of like break the game. The game has some technical issues for sure. Number one thing I want more than anything, and Chris, you brought up Sonic's draw distance thing. It's important to render things fast. Pokemon's all about seeing the creatures now, and the draw distance is just too slow. It's just too small. Especially later in the game when you're getting to like tighter areas and there are a lot of Pokemon popping up. Yep. You want to be traversing that open world, but Pokemon are just popping up 2 feet away from you and you just run into them and it breaks the momentum 100%. That said, the story of the way they made this open world work is really nice to see for an RPG, a JRPG. It really does feel like they let you choose your own adventure. You get to go out on the path you want to take. They give you 3 options, and you can mix and match those options together as you go. There are buffers in the game, certain level blocks will be there. There are no barriers, which is nice. No physical barriers, but yeah, you come across a trainer who's way stronger than you. You can't really progress that story further unless you do some stuff. I do like, and I did this myself, you can kind of over level yourself. You can go on one adventure, get really strong, and your Pokemon stop listening to you. They're really strong, but they're not going to do what you say half the time. And that's super cool. At first I was a little annoyed, but I'm like, no, that's a great way to kind of suggest what people should do without actually forcing them into that path. It's like, oh, your Pokemon just... And that's always been a thing in the games, but it never really came up. Now it actually kind of came up for me. I was like, it works. It works to kind of corral you. And I think that, like, I was able to build my own little story. I played this game twice, once with a friend and once by myself. I haven't done very far with the friend, but like completely different story just because they wanted to go somewhere else. They wanted to see a different thing than I did. And I really like that. Unlike Sonic, I think the Pokemon team's world design and character designs are always on point. The music's incredible.
The music is excellent.
Music's
The music is excellent. Like, why? How this is not nominated for anything at the Game Awards? Kind of crazy.
They have a great music team.
It is very good.
And it transitions between themes so seamlessly. I was trying to listen for cuts because I was like, I beat a character really fast, and I'm like, I know the music's about to change. It just did. It just gradually, they nailed the music, which really helps immerse you in like this kind of fast-paced battling system. I did come into this game past Arceus, and there were some things I wished they had taken from Arceus and like brought into this game. They didn't, and that's fine because it isn't that kind of different Pokemon Let's Go throw balls game. It is a Pokemon RPG. It is to be played like an RPG, and it's a really good RPG. I would say it is the best Pokemon game. 100%. Even with the glitches, at certain points, I was able to finally break the game and kind of like have weird things occur. But even with those few moments, and I think the internet's overblown it because it's very funny to look at the funny glitches. But even with those moments, they're far and few in between. They're understandable when you kind of know how the game's working. Oh yeah, I probably went through the menu too fast, opened it up, and a Pokemon was right on top of me, and now it's like 2 feet higher in the air than it should be. It's a little bug. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't break the immersion too much. It's a silly little RPG. It's a Pokemon game. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I had a great time with it. The one thing that I really liked in Sword and Shield, however, that absolutely sucks in this game are the raids. Because Sword and Shield introduced raids to Pokemon. And they weren't very good. And then they fixed it in the DLC. In the DLC, the raids were awesome. They were so cool, fast-paced. You got in a team with 4 people, you battled through these little dungeons. It was great. In this game, they tried to make everyone move at once, which makes sense because it's slow to have everyone in a turn-based RPG take their turn when there's 4 people playing against one other player. In this one, they have it happen all at once, and the game can't handle that. The game cannot handle 4 people attacking at once. It breaks. The pattern gets all messed up, and it's all timed. So the timer keeps going, but it freezes and it glitches and it sticks. Horrible like a great idea. It was not executed effectively. But I still think it's the best Pokemon game. It's the most replayable because of the adventuring, because they really let you have an open world to explore. And I'm happy they made it. I'm very happy they made it.
Yeah, second that from Clams. I'm playing it, Pokemon Scarlet. I finished all the activities. I just have the Elite Four to go, basically, and then I'm done. But yeah, like I told you guys last week, I'm shocked that I like this game because I don't like Pokemon like that. But yeah, this is, in my opinion, as well, the best Pokemon game to date. But I didn't play Arceus, so I don't know how it stacks up to that. But
different beast.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this game.
Can't hear you,
Thomas. You're muted.
Thank you. It's not really comparable. They're 2 really good games, but they're very different.
Yeah.
And then you had fun with Bayonetta 2 as well.
Bayonetta 2 is fun. I'll get to Bayonetta when I get to Bayonetta 3. I just want to play them all. So
fair enough. Before we get to our game awards, we have to do our last Duke, Alfredo. What have you been playing this week?
2 games. I am playing start with Somerville, which is also on Game Pass. So I've been playing Somerville, which is, if you guys know Playdead, they've done games like Limbo and Inside. Basically, the co-creator that has branched out into their own studio and basically decided, hey, we're going to make similar games, but with a different studio. So this is called Somerville. And I think it was first showed off at like a State of Play or something, but it's very reminiscent of Inside and Limbo. So it's that type of gameplay where you're like this in a 3D environment. It's much more like Inside, where you're in a 3D environment. You're solving basically platform puzzles basically and the like, and going through a very, very weird world. And I loved all the previous games like Inside and Limbo. Love those games. So I thought that this would be a shoe-in that I would love this as well, because what you can really expect out of those games are the unexpected. You can expect that you're going to do these challenging puzzles, which I like puzzle games. So challenging platform puzzles, you can expect that. But most of all, you can expect that they are going to tell the craziest story and not let you know what exactly is going on. You're just going to have your thoughts to think about, wait, why did this crazy thing happen? Or what's going on in this world? They do like world building the best, in my opinion. One of the best people who do world building. So yeah, this game is very similar, but it's basically out of the gate. And it's no spoilers because this happens like right in the beginning, but you are playing as a family, or you're playing as the husband in this family. You have your wife and your child and your dog, and basically aliens, or so basically alien structures come striking through basically like the planet, and it starts being rampant. And yeah, things turn to shit real quick. So you're basically going through this world, and what I wasn't expecting is that this is definitely the clearest story to date that I have gotten out of this developer, even though it's not the same developer, out of these types of games. This definitely has a story that you can kind of follow. There's no words that are ever exchanged in this game. They tell the story basically completely through bodily movements and actions. No words ever, no text bubbles, nothing. You just have to kind of piece together everything that happens just based off of what you're doing and what other characters are doing. And I was able to pretty much piece together what exactly was happening, which I didn't expect. And it was a little disappointing that they didn't leave that much up to thought for this game. Like, I wasn't left there thinking, wait, why did this happen? There were moments here and there, but eventually, like toward the end, they did get answered more or less. You're just left you're left a little less to your thoughts, which I think is the best strength in these types of games, that you're like, oh, why did this crazy thing happen, or what's going on? But yeah, it's more straightforward. So a lot of people might hate that, might like that, but it's definitely the most easy to follow out of all their games. What I will say about the gameplay, though, it's not good. Quite frankly, the gameplay, unfortunately, like Limbo and Inside, it has very tight gameplay, very clean mechanics. Whenever you do something, you can definitely tell, oh, it's my fault or whatever. This game is very unresponsive. The puzzles aren't fun. They're very simple. It's more like a walking simulator than anything else. Yeah, the gameplay just isn't there, basically. But it is on Game Pass. And, if you're into stories, it might be worth, spending 4 hours to you, because the game isn't very long. It takes 3 or 4 hours to complete. But you will be fighting the controls a bit, and it won't be very fun to play, unfortunately. And it's a game, so it should be fun. So I was really looking forward to this game. Yeah, the gameplay is not good at all.
I was trying to knock this one out before I got to Weird West. I played the first 30 minutes or so this past week. And what did you play it on, Alfredo?
I played it on my Xbox.
On Xbox?
Dude,
I played it on my PC, and I've got a 970, which is well in excess of the minimum spec, and this game has just got some severe technical issues. I've never seen screen tearing worse than this. It was like static on the screen anytime it got a low frame rate. It was, I was hovering somewhere between 20 and 40 frames per second, and in like pretty minimal environments. And again, like my graphics card is old, but it's not. It's well in excess of the min spec. So the anytime like the graphic or the frames dipped below 30, the screen tearing was so bad that it was like hard to look at. And when I eventually stopped playing it 30 minutes in, I felt sick.
Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't go away. Even on my Xbox, I was having the same issues with frame dips and everything like that. So I that does play a little bit into like the gameplay not feeling as tight and everything, but like I just think the gameplay isn't there for this one, and neither are the puzzles. But the story is cool. I don't know if I would play it again though, or if
I might watch
I
it.
knew about this
Might.
game, I don't know if I would play it. But here's to hoping the next one's better. But another game that I've been playing that I was able to snag up for Black Friday, just like Sonic Frontiers, which I'm sure it will be good, despite Clams saying it won't be. But we'll see. I've been playing Gotham Knights, so I did not want to pay $70 for this game, so I waited for a sale because
So you
I heard it
pirated it.
No, I paid.
No.
I paid for it. But it was half off already. It was $30 or $35. So
It's a great
playing
sign.
this, yeah. So playing this on my PS5, and I played this game right after I finished God of War. I was like, what should I play next? Oh, I have Gotham Knights. Let's put that in. And my God, the difference just in the frame rate, I guess, because they did announce that, this game isn't going to be 60 frames. It's going to be 30. So I went from 60 God of War to 30 frames. I like 30 frames. I don't think that's an issue. But for a game like this, the gameplay has to be tight. Like, you're a superhero, you're fighting creatures. God of War Ragnarok gameplay is there. Like, when you hit any one of those weapons that you choose, like, it feels good and you feel great. You feel like a superhero. This game, when you're playing as a superhero, when you're first starting out, at least, it feels so slow and sluggish, I guess. I had to do a little bit in this game. You're able to shuffle through the different superheroes, and each one has a different play style. And I started as Batgirl because in the trailers, she seemed more similar to what Batman's moveset and close combat, what I like basically from those types of games. And it felt slow. It definitely isn't an Arkham Knight. The problem this game has is that when you try to hit an enemy and you press the square button, for example, the superhero, whoever you're playing as, won't hit them. They will like wind up, or they'll do like a crazy flip first before hitting, and there's like this little bit of lag between you actually pressing the button and when they actually hit. And it's not because it's a technical issue or anything. I found out it's actually because of the game is trying to do something with mechanics, because apparently when you press the button, if you press it again exactly when they strike, then you get an additional combo or more damage. But the problem is that the game doesn't tell you how to do that either. And there's no indication of, did I do a perfect hit? Do I do what the developers wanted me to do? There's zero indication as to if you did do that. And it's just that little bit of delay when you're in a fighting game like that can make all the difference when it comes to being a superhero and feeling like your strikes like hit, things like that. So I didn't like this game starting out, but I forced myself to play. I eventually switched to Robin, and after playing with him for a couple hours, I'm having a good time playing this game. Like, I'm riding through Gotham. I feel like a Gotham superhero, a Dark Knight. Robin fits more of my playstyle of what I want. Yes, there's still those technical issues of it doesn't feel like I'm hitting when I'm hitting, but it's a good enough time that I'm having fun with it. I played probably about like 7 hours already because I'm just having a fun time being a superhero. Would I pay $70 for it? Probably not. Definitely not, actually. But for a $30 game, just being able to ride around Gotham, have some fights, I'm here for it. I love Robin, so I'm here for it. Story isn't that great.
That's what I want to talk about, because I did watch a gameplay video like of the story.
Yeah, it's not good.
This is like CW level. Like, it is.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. This is like a CW level in terms
it's not
of like
horrible. I'm not gonna say it's horrible, but this game, it's hard for me not to look at this game and then think of what we just had with the Arkham series.
Yeah, and it's hard to explain. We don't have time for it right now, but they do some weird stuff with the story where they basically split it up in different branches, kind of like Pokemon, where they say you can do these or this or this. They give you different options, basically. The leveling is entirely pointless. I wish they didn't do it with the RPG and the loot. They do have badass costumes, really cool costumes in this game. Problem is that once you unlock and craft a costume, you're going to be doing it constantly. So you're constantly switching. And for the transmog system to select your costume, you have to unlock it in a way that they don't tell you. So they have some cool things here and there, but they do a really bad job explaining things to you. And there's a good game underneath here, but it's hidden by things like the combat and the level design, where you have to go to your home base I kid you not, every 10 to 15 minutes, you have to go all the way back to your base to kind of like reset things and go into a cutscene. Interesting decisions done. I could say a lot more about it, but it's probably not worth any of our time. So yeah, if $30, I would say get it if you're into superhero games, but yeah, definitely not a full price.
I just want to say real quick, I want to throw in a disclaimer. Like Ben, I work for the CW and I'm affiliated with the CW. My opinion, the opinions of this podcast are not mine alone. Your story writing, as bad as it may be, it's the podcast saying that, not me. You gave me COVID, CW, and I'm upset.
Well, I'm glad we got that.
Disclaimer. I know the stories are bad. It's not my opinion.
First few seasons of The Flash were good. I want to say that.
And Arrow.
First season of Arrow is good TV.
Yeah, it was.
I can't speak to anything after that.
Season 2 was
CW
good.
show.
Season 2 was good. Ish. But yeah, I digress. Tom, take it away.
Well, we have another thing that is up and down, which is the Game Awards. The Game Awards is always providing good content for content creators such as ourselves, and of course, we have to throw our hats into the prediction game. And I'm gonna give it back to Alfredo. I want you to kind of explain how it's gonna work, because this is your world and we're living in it.
Sure. All right, so like Thomas said, we're gonna do some Game Award 2022 predictions. So here are the rules, guys. Okay, so we are competing, all 5 of us and whoever's watching. We are competing to see who can correctly guess who will be the winners of these many different categories for the Game Award nominees. So I'm gonna put them all on screen in a second so everyone can see. But the goal will basically be, we will put up a category on screen. We will discuss who we might think will win. Everyone will finalize who they personally think will win that category. And come next week, when Game Award actually airs, we will be able to count up who had the most predictions right and declare the winner that week, basically. So
the one to rule them all.
Exactly, the run to rule them all. So we got categories, which I'm about to put up, but I do want to stress that what we see here, these categories, all of these beautiful babies right here, they don't equal the same amount of points, okay? So basically, we have a couple of, not all of these categories are equal, is what I'm trying to say. So the esports ones, where we don't have a whole ton of knowledge about esports, we're still going to vote on them and make our selections on who we think are going to win, but they are going to be worth less than some of the other categories. So all the esports one will be worth less. Game of the year is worth more points than any of the other categories. And then all the other ones are just standard categories, okay? So those are how we're going to kind of do our pointing system. We will also have a bonus round at the end. After we confirmed all of our answers, we'll have a bonus round for basically what we think will happen at the Game Awards. So at the Game Awards, there's also a whole bunch of announcements of new games, new releases, all of that. So each one of us will basically pick what we think, a prediction for what we think will be announced or released at the Game Awards. Everyone clear? You got me?
I got you.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's get this started. So first, we're going to start with everyone's favorite category, which is best esports event.
League of Legends. Locking in my vote.
Wow, that was fast. You were confident. Why were you so fast?
It's League of Legends. You can't go wrong. Except by playing League of Legends, you can't go wrong.
All right, we got a League of Legends. I'm gonna say I was gonna pick Evo. Out of the ones on screen, we have Evo, League of Legends, PGL Major Antwerp, 22 Mid-Season Invitational, and Valorant Champions. I was gonna say Evo because, well, I personally love Evo. I watch it every single year. It's awesome. But I'm kind of leaning toward you, Clams, because I do know that the League of Legends people are crazy, just like you.
And look at that
they
cup.
will-
Look at how cool that cup is.
It does
It's a
look really
cup.
cool. I think I'm gonna lock in League of Legends as well.
Well, I'm gonna go with Evo then. Look at those lights.
The lights do look pretty.
They're so
There's no
cool.
there's
Look
no
at the lights.
trophy though.
Who cares?
Chris, what do you
Definitely
say?
Evo.
I'm going to go with Evo as well, just because of the my thoughts of like back in the day when what was it? I think it was Daigo and the Street Fighter Street Fighter 3 fight. You know, the one that like he was parrying everything. Like that was just an iconic moment in gaming history. And I was like, I got to go with that though.
Thomas, what's it gonna be?
The amount of shits I give about this category would be a negative number. But
Hey, it's good points.
Save it for the next
Positive
4
points.
categories, Thomas.
Yeah, that extends to the next 4. You're right. Fuck it. I'll go with League of Legends.
Right answer.
Okay. All right. So we got 3 League of Legends, 2 Evo. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. So next category, Thomas, you're gonna love this. We have best esports coach. So we have. I'm just gonna give out the nicknames. So we have Brad. We have Bizka. We have Doombros. We have Robon, and we have Score. Those are all their nicknames.
Ooh.
But yeah.
I think that first one's Blade.
I think Brad
I
is
think
supposed to be Blade.
Oh, what
Brad's
you
better
said,
though.
so
Brad's
Brad.
better. I like Brad better.
Brad, Blade,
Brad
take
the
your
gamer.
pick. I apologize for the disrespect. If you are Blade or Brad, I don't know.
Is the second one Bizka or Bazooka?
Where's the U? There's no U.
It doesn't exist.
Oh God, I'm just gonna go with their first names from now on. All right, what do you guys think?
I'm going with Go Score Dong because he looks professional. He looks clean.
He
Everyone
does.
else looks like a slob.
I don't know. Robon
Looks
is
like
looking
a LinkedIn
professional.
profile. Right
He looks
there.
like it. He does. That's what I'm going with him. I trust that man. The rest
I'm
of
gonna
them, I
go
wouldn't
with
trust.
Bizka or Bazooka because he already has a trophy, and he's smiling
Hmm.
with teeth. So you gotta trust him. So I'm gonna go with them.
I'm gonna choose Brad
AKA Blade.
on the strength of his name.
Yeah.
I will go with God. Let's go with
That's
the
not
League of
an
Legends guy. Let's go with Dong. Let's go with Dong.
Go
Okay.
Dong go. Go Dong go.
Go Dong.
Chris, what do you say?
I'm going with Doom Bros because everyone that does a peace sign in a picture is always the coolest, right?
Okay. Sorry, Robon. The only one who didn't get picked.
Fuck
What?
He's
Robon?
he's disappointed, just like us
Yeah.
not picking him. So there you go.
Well, joke's on us if he wins, right?
You're right.
So next category, Thomas, another favorite category, best esports team. Okay, so we
Hooray.
have Dark Zero Esports from Apex Legends. We have FaZe Clan CS:GO. We have Gen G from League of Legends. LA Thieves for Call of Duty, and Loud from Valorant.
Loud.
I'm going FaZe Clan.
Loud. Loudest wins.
I'm going FaZe Clan.
I'm only going FaZe Clan because I always hear about them. Like, I've always heard about FaZe Clan. I don't know what they're associated with or what they play, but
I'm pretty sure they play multiple games, but I feel like they're nominated this time for. Oh, it's right there at the bottom. Sorry.
CS:GO.
yeah, it's there. Oh, FaZe is overrated, apparently, according to chat, but I think they'll win.
I'm gonna go with the LA Thieves because I used to live right by their compound and I used to drive by it all the time.
A compound?
Fair enough. Yeah, they've got a
Yeah, it was,
compound.
it was
Why,
a big,
what is a
big
compound?
square building that had 100 thieves written on the side.
How big is a compound?
It's pretty big. So it was in
That
Culver
was-
City.
Was that the one is sponsored by the insurance company?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Aflac?
No, like H&M or something. I don't know.
H&R Block or
H&R Block, that's the one.
Oh no.
LAT sponsored by Affleck.
Oh, I did not know. Apparently, Fortnite kicked FaZe Clan off, and then they split into different games. Interesting. All right, who else hasn't voted?
Loud. Get me in.
What were the? Let me get that again for everybody.
I got FaZe Clan. We got Loud for Clams. Elite Thieves for Ben. Chris.
I'm gonna go Gen.G. Does it look like, I don't know,
Humble Folk.
the next BTS?
That works.
Oh my god.
Thomas.
Oh, I said FaZe Clan.
All right. We're almost through, guys. We're almost through. We can almost get to the fun one, okay?
I want
But
the fans to
first-
know that the only person that wanted to do these was Alfred.
Okay, we gotta do it. First, we got Best Esports Athlete. Okay, and I'm gonna do nicknames again. We got Chovy. We got Faker. We got Kerrigan, Simple, and Yay. And I'm gonna go with
The Kanye?
Sure.
A different yay.
I'm gonna go with Simple and clean, just like Kingdom Hearts, obviously.
I'm gonna go with Yay because it's so happy.
I'm gonna go with Ye too because he looks the least like an athlete, which I think is a good thing for gamers.
I'll go
No
with-
offense to Kanye there,
or gamers.
or gamers.
I'm gonna go with Shelby because
reasons.
just because.
Oh man. I'm gonna go with Kerrigan because he reminds me of, or he's using at least sort of Kerrigan in StarCraft. So I was like, okay.
Good pick.
Sound pick.
Sound.
All right. Last one, guys. This one might be fun for you. Maybe. Who knows? Best esports game. Actual game. Okay, so we got Counter-Strike, Go. We got Dota 2, League of Legends, Rocket League, and Valorant.
I'm gonna go with Valorant.
I'm gonna go with League.
I'll rep our missing Duke and choose Rocket League for him.
Someone had to.
I think I'm going to go CSGO.
I'm gonna go League just because Arcane was an amazing TV show.
Oh, that's true. That's
Fair
true.
It
enough.
was
Fair enough.
really good.
We'll come back to Arcane for sure.
All right, so we're done with all the one-pointers, okay? Those were the one-pointers. They don't count that much, but maybe you got some right. All right, so now we move into some actual categories here. So we are going for most anticipated game. So we have Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, or The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
I feel like it can only be two.
I don't
feel like
know. This is a good list.
It's a tough
The one I know
Tough
is
one.
I know Final Fantasy's not gonna get it. It's too niche. It's
Fair
too
enough.
anime.
I was gonna say
it-
Resident Evil isn't gonna get it.
Yeah,
I hope not.
I think,
hope not.
No,
If
I
it
think
already
Resident
came
Evil. I think Resident Evil and Final Fantasy are the ones I know are not going to get it.
I don't know.
They're
I think
they're
Final
too
Fantasy-
anime and too niche.
That's fair. That's fair.
Starfield, Hogwarts Legacy, and Zelda are to
Mm-hmm.
me close ones, and I feel like it really is just between Hogwarts Legacy and Zelda.
Oh,
You don't think
it's
Starfield
definitely
anymore?
Starfield. Definitely Starfield for
I think it's definitely Zelda.
I don't
I
know. I'm
agree.
thinking
I
it's
second that.
Hogwarts.
I think
Zelda.
Hogwarts has a better chance than Starfield because Starfield we kind of like that's been around for a while. I feel like it's
Lock
it's
me in. I'm
almost
going
like,
Hogwarts.
No one trusts Bethesda.
I don't.
Everyone's
they,
got short
they
memories.
trust them, but we've seen a little bit of Starfield, right? So there's less mystery. Granted, we
Yeah,
have
there's no
seen
mystery compared to
Hogwarts
the other
too.
ones.
we've seen about the
seen
same of the top three, about the same amount of
Yeah,
each
it's
of them.
true. Yeah.
Right. The only one we haven't seen was Zelda that much of, right? We haven't
But
seen
I feel
actual
like
gameplay.
Starfield, we know what that's gonna be. Like everybody knows what a Bethesda game is.
Right.
Nobody knows what Hogwarts Legacy is gonna be.
Hogwarts can't win because of J.K. Rowling. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Oh, I didn't factor that into it actually.
Yeah, think about
That's
that.
why I'm going with. That's why I'm
about
going
that.
with Zelda. I feel like that's the safest pick.
Yeah,
That's
Zelda's
a
the
safe
safe
bet.
bet.
I think it's still gonna go with Hogwarts. I think it's been long enough that the Avalanche software has like distanced themselves from the controversy of J.K. Rowling, and I think people like is freaking Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I think
then she tweets tomorrow,
gotta
and
be
you can
true.
be like,
right.
all right.
I'm
so
gonna play it, but you know,
Oh, everyone's gonna play it.
everyone's
All
gonna
our
play
votes are in, or
You're Starfield.
yeah.
Clams. What are you?
it. Zelda.
Right.
I
And
am
Chris, what are you?
Hogwarts.
I'm gonna go with Zelda. I think that is that's the one everyone's gonna be anticipating.
It's a good pick.
Definitely the safest pick for sure.
The safe
Yeah.
bet,
I mean, like Starfield has a lot of hype, but like I think it died down, especially since they delayed it.
Especially,
yeah.
especially since the last time we saw it, it wasn't exactly the most positive thing in the world.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, look, you can build a gummy ship," and I was like, "Yes." Everyone else was like, "Ooh."
Watch Resident Evil 4 win.
I know. I'd be
it
so
might.
mad.
It might. The powers that be might make it win. But
It's just like the 10th time that's been released or something like that.
Jesus. I just bought it last year on
It
VR.
is so.
On VR, yeah. Well, we'll see. I do want to make a point that we're just predicting what we think will win. These aren't our, most anticipated games or
Right,
what we want to win necessarily. It's what we think is going to win for the Game
Where,
Awards.
where the hell is Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's not coming out next
Why
year.
is that?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Like, yes.
Yeah, it's slated
like,
for next year.
Huh.
that
Resident
definitely
Evil
needs to
4 is
replace one of these
better?
games.
Hey, I don't make the rules, okay? I
Resident
don't
Evil.
make the rules,
Yeah.
but
I'll throw that in.
we do have for the next one
Mm.
adaptation.
God.
Ben's
Wait, let's
favorite
pause. Ben, release.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm just gonna pose a question, and then we can move on because we got a lot more categories to go through. This is the Game Awards. Why is there a category at the Game Awards that is not about, not including esports, which I understand, it's a different thing. Why is there a category full of media that has not a single game on it at the Game Awards? When you watch the Oscars, they don't give awards to novelizations of the movies that came out that year.
Not yet, they don't.
So why are we giving awards to movies and TV that got to our favorite things late?
It's the culture.
I want to throw devil's advocate because I agree with you, but I will say the novelization, like there are a lot of great novels that turn into great movies. You cannot say the same thing for great games that have turned into great
That's
TV
true,
shows or
that's
movies.
true.
So I
But-
think that
but-
having it like showing off that okay, games can make
Can be
good
good.
adaptations. I get why it's there. I agree with you. It should be here, but I understand the logic.
The best adapted screenplay award at the Oscars goes to a movie that was adapted from a book.
Right.
The best, or something else. The best adaptation at the Game Awards goes to a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a little silly.
This should
It's
for
a
sure
little
be
silly.
at the Oscars. This award should be at the Oscars, but you already know the Oscars would
Yeah, it
never
should.
do an award.
Yeah, they're like video games spin on
So
it.
Jeff Keighley's like, I got to come and save the day and add it as a nominee thing. So I
But
think
also-
I think it comes down between two, right?
Well, yeah. Well, let me say what they are. So we got Arcane, League of Legends, Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted. It's Arcane, is what I would say.
Why?
I say it's gonna be Arcane. It should be Cyberpunk.
It should
And
be
I
Cyberpunk.
feel that Cyberpunk does have a small chance of winning because it's more fresh.
Because it's more recent, yeah.
It's more recent,
recency
and
bias.
I think it has a higher like Metacritic. Like it's like a lot of people love that.
I don't think Cyberpunk has a
And,
chance.
and can you say? And one thing that Cyberpunk did that League of Legends Arcane or whatever it's called didn't do, I don't think it brought more people to League of Legends.
Sure.
Cyberpunk definitively brought people into that world.
I think Cyberpunk did a good job of the world itself. I thought Arcane just had a better story.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
if you're just talking about story to story, like I think like Cyberpunk seemed pretty, like, I don't want to say generic, but it was like it kind of like it seemed like a regular anime, but like it just
Right.
had the flair of the Cyberpunk world. I don't know why Castlevania's not on here, because that was great
Oh
too.
yeah.
That's
Well, I think it's too old, right?
It's not from the
two
past
years.
year,
probably
yeah.
it didn't come out.
Yeah.
A new season didn't come out probably. But I don't know. I would say that Arcane's world was very intriguing. I thought it was very intriguing. I think it
It's
wins hands
okay.
down.
It's gonna be Arcane. I'm almost 100% sure of that. But because it's a bit of a toss up, I'm gonna go Cuphead.
Cuphead's really good.
It is
Cuphead's
good.
really good. I'm
never
just gonna
seen
throw that in.
You should watch it, Alfredo. It's like those Looney Tune cartoons, but way better, and it's modern.
Well, I was gonna say another game that's on here, Uncharted. That movie was good, guys.
I haven't watched it.
It was a solid movie, okay? It was a solid movie.
Alfredo,
It's Arcane. It's Arcane. Let's move on.
Alfredo, you said Uncharted is good?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to have a conversation after.
We'll talk.
Oh man.
Is everyone picking Arcane? No, Clams pick Cuphead.
picked
Anyone
Cuphead.
else?
And everybody else picked Arcane? I picked Arcane.
Yep.
Yeah, Arcane definitely for
All
sure.
right.
Okay.
Next category. Okay, best debut indie. So we have Neon White, we have Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors are our choices.
I think Stray is gonna win this one.
Yeah, I think for me it's
can see
between
it.
Stray and Tunic. My heart goes to Norco, of course, as you guys know. I just sang
Yeah.
the praises of this game. This game's absolutely
I was
fantastic.
actually gonna say I think it's between Stray and Neon White, actually.
I think Neon White's gonna win different awards. I know Neon White's nominated for other things down the line, and I think it's gonna win some of those. Stray's gonna win this one. That's
I think you might be right because Stray is nominated for Game of the Year and has got no chance in hell to win that
Yeah.
one.
I disagree with you
Oh my
about
God,
Neon
if it
White.
does.
I love that game, but I feel like that game is the perfect recipe of this is gonna get like snubbed in every single award it's nominated for. But I love that game. It's probably my favorite game out of these 5.
Yeah, and I feel
I'm
like a
going
lot
with
of people
Vampire
feel that way.
Survivors. I'm going with Vampire Survivors because that's kind of like a meme game, and I feel like it's not nominated for much. So I feel like this is the one award it could get.
It's a good game. I do like Vampire Survivors. It's a great.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was fine, but I remember that took over like a subsection of the gaming verse for a little while. So I think that it might get an award based on that.
Sure.
I don't know which one to pick.
You picked Stray, Ben, right?
Yeah, I'm conflicted with Tunic, but I think Stray.
I think let's go. Let's go Stray.
Stray.
There is also a best indie category. This one's just debut, right?
Right. I think best indie might go to Neon White.
Oh dang!
I'm going
You were
with
picking
Stray as well.
Stray.
There was just too much hype around it.
Yeah, people love the cats.
Yeah.
Solid game. And Clams, what were you picking?
Stray.
Stray. Got some cat lovers here.
You know it. All right.
It's like Family Feud. You got to find out what the top 100 answers.
Exactly.
Right? That's all you gotta do.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna have a hard time with this one. So the next category is content creator of the year. So we have Carl Jacobs, Ludwig, Nibillion, Nobro, or how do you say that?
Quintarella.
Quincerella,
QTC and
Cinderella,
Cutie Cinderella. That's probably it. That's
Cutie.
almost the name.
Cutie Cinderella.
It's
That's a pretty
Ludwig.
nice. I like that name.
After we figured it out,
Yeah, after you
and
figured it out, I'm like,
deciphered
that's a pretty creative streaming name. All right. She didn't get my vote, but that's a good name.
It's Ludwig.
I was gonna say, yeah, Ludwig or
I'm
yeah.
taking Nibillion because he
Ludwig.
has the Mob Psycho
That's fair.
Logo.
So I'm going with him.
He doesn't
Chad
actually.
is saying
It's
it's gonna be
just an AI.
Ludwig too.
I wouldn't be Duke of Anime if I didn't support.
Well, I'm going to hop on the bandwagon and say Ludwig because I don't know who any of these people are.
Copycat.
Same. Let's go with Ludwig train right now.
All right, Ludwig.
Everybody's Ludwig except for me.
Yep.
Got it.
But next we got best multiplayer. So we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Multiverses.
Shredder's Revenge.
Oh no, for this one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, I wanted to get it, but
Yeah, same.
I don't see it either.
'Cause I don't want Call of Duty to get it. I don't want Overwatch 2 to get it. I don't want Splatoon 3 to get it. I think it's between in my mind, it's between Multiverses and TMNT.
I think Call of Duty might get it.
The thing is, 3 of these games have very toxic reception to their multiplayers. Like Call of Duty, Overwatch 2, and Splatoon 3, all the community hates the multiplayer.
Really? Modern Warfare 2?
I didn't know that about that either.
Yeah, it's me. But you mean though that community's kind of lends itself towards that.
I'm still gonna pick it.
I go multiverses.
I'm going Call of Duty.
I'm going to say Call of Duty as well. I think a lot of people recaptured their love for Call of Duty this year.
Yeah, it did mega gangbusters numbers as per usual.
I was I was leaning towards Splatoon 3, but I even enjoyed the beta of Modern Warfare 2. And I was like, okay, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be the one that takes it here.
Okay. And then Clams, what was yours?
He's thinking.
TMNT.
I hope you're right.
Me too.
I'm
Me
right
too.
That's the multi experience.
I know it's not Overwatch or Splatoon. It's probably Call of Duty, but I'm going the Turtles.
Another guessing game for me. Best sports / racing game. We got F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K 23, Gran Turismo 7, or Ollie Ollie World. A lot of numbers there.
I don't think a yearly entry is gonna win.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything particularly awesome about any of the yearly ones. Maybe F1, but
2K was cool.
don't know.
2K was really good this year. I played a lot of 2K23. I don't think it did enough to be over something like Gran Turismo.
I've heard a lot of good things about Ollie Ollie World, but I don't know if it has enough.
Right, to take over.
Yeah.
I'm shocked it's in this category.
Yeah,
Me
I think
too,
it's probably the top rated of these games, right?
Gran Turismo was rated pretty high. I think Gran Turismo was higher than it.
I know there was a whole kerfuffle with Gran Turismo.
Right, with the DLC, right? Or like the
something like
Right.
that, microtransactions.
Yeah.
That it soured it a little bit, but yeah. So I'm gonna just do shot in the dark and say Ollie Ollie, just because I figure I feel like this might be one for critics to put a thumb in the eye of the AAAs in favor of an
That's
indie.
true.
My problem is this isn't even the best game that studio developed this year. Like they could have put Roller Drone on here, and I like.
Yeah, I guess that's an action game.
It's not a
instead.
sports game though, or a racing game.
Neither is Ollie
I mean,
Ollie World.
Ollie Ollie's a
That's
skateboarding game.
Skateboarding, yeah.
You're roller skating and
Sports
Roller
game.
Drone.
Yeah.
And shooting people in the face, but
That's,
Wow.
yeah, that's a sport too. To some people.
I'm going FIFA 23 because soccer is happening right now.
That's a fair point.
I was I'm between Gran Turismo and FIFA. I think I'm gonna go FIFA.
FIFA for me.
FIFA.
Okay, 3 feet.
It's gonna be Ollie Ollie World. It's gonna win.
Right.
Yeah.
It
I hope
might.
so.
All right. Well, let's see what's next. We have best sim / strategy. So we have Dune, Spice Wars,
That
Mario
came
and
out?
Rabbids. Yeah, I did. It's a mobile game. Mario and Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Total War, Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3.
Total War.
I think
Victoria
so too.
sounds pretty cool. I might have to look into that. I know that 2 Point Campus and Total War Warhammer 3 both reviewed pretty well because they were on my fantasy draft. I'm gonna go with Total War Warhammer 3.
I think I'm going with that too. I played 2 Point Campus. That was a fun game, but I saw a lot more people playing Total War.
Mm-hmm. I could see a world where Mario and Rabbids wins.
I see that too.
Yeah, I could too.
But yeah, I'll go Total War.
I've heard those games are fun too.
They're pretty good.
I'm gonna go with Dune because I was pretty hype about that. I didn't even know it came out, which is probably a bad sign. But
I don't think anyone knew. All right. Let's go to the next category. We got Best Family Game. And of course, it's Nintendo World in here. So we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, Mario and Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
Star
They
Wars.
just need to make this category best Nintendo game
Right.
How the hell did Switch Sports get on this list?
because there's nothing else.
It's a good
That is
game.
a horrible game.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I paid $40. Oh my god, it's a horrible game.
Really?
That game. It's bad.
Man, I can't believe it's on here. I'm
I'd
going
like
Kirby.
to go. I'd like to go Kirby, but I'm going Star Wars.
Yeah.
I feel like Star Wars is fair because they might just give the Lego games their. Because this honestly feels like the end game of those Lego games in a
Fair.
weird way.
Oh, there's always more Lego.
They're always. I mean, there's more Marvel too, but it's like there's always. I feel that was a end of an era because those Star Wars games were like the home base for Lego for a while. So I could definitely see them taking it, but I think it's
I
gonna
just
be
wish
Kirby.
it was good.
Yeah. Or better. I guess.
Kirby for me.
Two Kirby's. We got a Star Wars.
Chris, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going Star Wars as well.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm between Mario and Kirby. I'll go Kirby. All right, next category. Best fighting game. We have DNF Duel,
Ooh.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, The King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, or Sifu. I'm going Sifu.
Sifu is the odd man out here. It's not really a fighting game.
That's the thing.
Right.
Like,
That's why I'm
Sifu's
picking
the
it.
best. Sifu's the best game in this list for sure.
Mhm.
But I don't know if they're gonna give it to it.
I'm gonna give it to Multiverses.
Yeah, I think Multiverses might take this.
No, I don't. I
'Cause
don't
Sifu
think
is not a
Multiverses-
fighting game.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a fighting game. It's not
You
a
do
traditional
fight in
fighting
it.
game, though.
It is not a fighting game. Like all of
It's
these
a
other games are
brawler.
fighting games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It is
I call it a
brawler.
brawler. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say King of Fighters 15, just total shot
That's
in
a
the
good
dark.
pick.
I just feel like Multiverses can't get it just because it was. I don't know. It seemed pretty mixed. Like a lot of people played it, but not a lot of people really loved it.
But it's like how many people play King of Fighters?
Yeah, but if like a fraction of the people play it but they all really like it, it could win. You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Is this
For the-
King of
well,
Fighters?
it's
What
all-
is
it's
this
all
King of Fighters
reviewers.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 people played it.
Yeah. There you go. There you
If
go.
I didn't pick Sifu, I would be picking King of Fighters, but I think Sifu will win here.
I might have to play King of Fighters. It looks pretty anime. I never looked at what King of Fighters ever looked like. Like, it actually looks pretty cool.
So DNF Duel, is that by the same guys who did like the Blaz Blue fighting game?
Yeah, Arc
it's
System
Arc
Works.
System Works. They made like Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Yeah, that's them. I
That looks
haven't
like
heard of
another
this game
game.
though.
Yeah.
It probably is the best game on the list, to be honest, of all the fighting games, because they make really good fighting games.
Yeah. I might go with that just
Okay.
because
Because it looks cool.
I mean it looks cool and like yeah, they have a following of
Yeah,
Right.
they've got a
People that-
pedigree. Arc System Works has a serious
sure.
pedigree.
I didn't even see that it was them that made that. All right, so I'm Multiverses. Alfredo, you're Sifu.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, did you pick
King of Fighters.
King of Fighters? Thank you. And then Clamps,
Multiverses.
Right.
Multiverses.
Yeah.
someone's gonna win it, I think.
Yeah.
This was a toss up because I really do feel like they could give it to Sifu, but Sifu should not be on this list.
Yeah, I agree.
Disagree. Agree to disagree. Great game. All right, so now we got best role playing game.
Yikes.
So we have Elden Ring, Live a Live, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
There's
I'm
only
gonna say-
one game
I'm
I
gonna
know
say
is not
this.
going to win, and that's Triangle Strategy.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
not gonna win.
I'm going to say this now, but it's going to be relevant for every time we see Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. I was about to say, is this just where an Elden Ring starts sweeping?
Yeah.
awards?
That's
Whenever
what
we
I was going to
see
say. If there was ever a year where a game deserved to sweep, I know the last time a game really swept, it was either Did Red Dead sweep? No, it didn't. It kind of split with God of War.
God of War,
or
God of
different
War,
game.
and then kind of. I think Zelda was the last game that.
I think Zelda was the
swept
last.
through
But
everything.
even Zelda, I don't think Zelda deserved to sweep because Mario Odyssey came out that year too. I think Mario Odyssey deserved more awards than it got that year.
Mario Odyssey shafted that year. You're right.
Yeah. I think if ever there was a year where a game deserved to sweep, I think Elden Ring is it. I think it'll hit some resistance with God of War, but
for sure.
But I'm pretty much gonna vote Elden Ring for every one of these categories.
I think for this category, yeah, Elden Ring, mark me down. Yeah, none of these really hold a candle to Elden Ring, in my opinion, in terms of best role play.
False. I'm picking Xenoblade.
That's what I wanted to pick. Too.
I was thinking of picking that one as well.
I'm
actually.
sorry. Like
There's
Xenoblade's
no
not going to
way.
win anything else. It has to win here. It has to. Like Elden Ring's going to win everything else. It has to be here. I'm making a stand right here. Xenoblade's winning this award.
I don't know.
If on some off chance though, Thomas, if on some off chance Elden Ring does not win Game of the Year, it's probably going to win everything else it was nominated for.
Well, see, that's the trick. Like for me, it's either I don't think Elden Ring's going to sweep. I think Elden Ring's going to win a lot, and I don't know what's going to be. We'll see what happens Game of the Year. But you're right. If it does not win Game of the Year, it's getting everything else. I agree with you there. The whole Oscar trick. All right, so I got Elden Ring for Ben, Alfredo Clams.
Oh,
You gonna stick with your Pokemon guts?
No, because I think we talked about earlier how it wasn't even like the most RPG it could be. I think I'm Elden Ring.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let's come to the dark side.
It is the smart choice.
it's a safe one for sure.
Chris, what do you say?
I'm picking it. I'm picking Xenoblade.
Hey,
I'm going with
hey.
The man goes with his heart.
Right.
Yeah.
You played
I'll
Xenoblade,
take it.
right?
I haven't. But
haven't.
I have. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and
Better story than Elden Ring.
yeah. Well, I mean, both are pretty out there in terms of the story, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Xenoblade with this.
All right. Well, we'll see who wins that category. Next one we have is Best Action Adventure. So we have A Plague's Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic.
Action adventure. I got to say this. Action adventure is such a useless category.
Yeah, I hate the names of this.
Hey, there's some extra information for the best action and adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
Oh, okay. So like everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a video game.
I'm shocked Elden Ring's not in this list.
What?
Right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Elden Ring totally qualifies for all of that.
Yeah.
A lot of traversal in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
You just jump on your horse.
Traversal.
You just jump.
Traversing with the horse.
And in
Jump on
Stray,
the
you just
horse.
walk around.
There are
No,
puzzles
there's
in
some
Stray.
Yeah, there's
I'm going with God of War.
yeah, it's God of War. Put me down.
I'm gonna go Horizon.
Ooh.
Spicy take.
I'll say God of War as well.
I'm sorry, Plague's Tale.
That's
Love you
That's
dearly.
I don't think it's funny because I don't think Horizon has a chance for anything.
fair
They
enough.
released
Next
that.
to
They
God
should
of
have
War.
released that game last year.
Yeah.
Last year, that game would have swept everything.
Chris, did you choose?
Yeah, I'm gonna go God of War.
Cool beans.
All right.
Got everybody?
Next one. Best action game. We have Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
So we went from
Sifu.
best action adventure to
It's
now
the best
action.
action. Yeah.
Yes, and this one is...
Sifu is also apparently a fighting game, but none of the other fighting games count as action games, I guess.
Right.
Yes, Ben, what don't you get about this?
Maybe we'll have Jeff Keighley next year to explain this.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Sifu.
Sifu.
It has to win something, and I feel like this is prime time for it.
I'm looking at Bayonetta.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bayonetta.
Bayonetta was
It's got the
controversial.
controversy.
They're not
Yeah,
gonna-
it's got
It
the
was.
They're not gonna want to like the Helena Taylor. I don't think they're gonna want to.
But they were proven right, though.
But it's
That's
still.
true.
I feel like there's still enough like there where it's like,
What people like.
like Sifu just has positive reception.
Yeah.
That's true.
I would
I'm going
want-
But
Bayonetta.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has a good
Yeah.
chance too. I feel like
That's true.
that might sweep. That might get a good amount of awards depending on how much.
It has a good
nominated
chance
for
here,
it.
I think. But I think it's Bayonetta.
I'm holding fast with Bayonetta too.
Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3 as well. I should have said.
He was saying, Bayonetta.
Yeah.
All right, we got 2 Bayos, and then anybody hopping on that neon white trail?
Not for this one.
Probably the best game out of all these games, but that's not how this is.
I still
going.
got to play it.
Great game.
Got everyone's vote?
Sifu?
Chris?
Sifu for you, Clams?
Yeah.
I'm going with Seafood.
Sifu, okay.
Ooh. I hope it wins this one.
I mean, if you look at what it says for the best game in action, focused primarily on combat. That's all you do. You
Literally,
you
yeah.
have to
that's
get
true.
better at this game to keep progress.
That's true. We will see. All right, so we have best VR AR game. So we
There's-
have
It's
After
Among
the
Us.
Fall.
It's Among Us. It's Among Us.
After
It
the
could be- I
Fall,
don't know. I don't know.
Among Us VR, Bone Lab, Moss Book 2, and Red Matter 2.
I feel like it could be Bone Lab. Bone Lab got of all the VR games that came out this year, that's the only one I saw like anybody talking about.
That's
I
fair.
thought Bone Lab came out a long time ago. That's why I was.
Bone,
That's why I was like,
Boneworks did. Bone Lab is the
Ah,
spin-off.
Yeah.
Boneworks that is available for request.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going Among Us as well. Yeah.
Among Us.
It is going to be Among Us. I just think Bone Labs has a fighting chance.
I don't know if Bone Lab was good. I totally missed it coming out.
Me neither, actually.
I know
I
it
can't
was-
speak to
I'm
the
picking
I can't speak
Among
to the
Us.
quality of it.
Yeah. I'm going to throw it to Moss just on the off chance.
I heard that's a good game.
I did. I also heard that, but the problem is I don't know if enough people played it.
Yeah, barely anyone did.
Well, we weren't one of them.
Right.
Alfredo, you said you're Among Us as well.
Yep.
All right, and then Chris,
Among Us.
we need to hop on that.
We should.
Among Us.
Yeah, I thought that'd be fun.
Were you Among Us as
In
well?
VR, it's always fun.
Yeah,
All right. Next category: innovation in accessibility. All right. So just a little description: recognizing software and or hardware that's pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
I appreciate
this
that
category is.
definition of accessibility because I feel like accessibility is one of these buzzwords that just does not have a meaning that you can pin down.
Yeah.
It's like people are talking about 7 different things every time they talk
Exactly.
about accessibility.
when I've always looked at it as like a category always for like helping disabled gamers
Mhm.
enjoy
More
games.
that's one way to talk about it.
But I
Another-
think it should encompass a lot more than that. Because I mean, you think of a game like 2 of these games in particular, God of War and Last of Us, like PlayStation Studios in general has made it their mission to make all of their games have as many just accessibility
Right.
options as possible. It's kind of, it seems like it's a mandate.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me give the all the games real quick. So we have As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry.
God of War.
Now, this one's tough for me because I haven't dipped in any of these accessibility features. I have played pretty much all these games except one, but I haven't dipped into the accessibility features.
I feel like Naughty Dog has just done the most extensive accessibility features. I mean,
Mm.
I would just guess that it was Last of Us 2. Like that was just I don't even know, but that was gonna be my guess.
That's a good guess. I just don't, because I think Last of Us 2 got it when
Right.
it was nominated. And I played both of them. The accessibility options are pretty much the same.
same. Yeah.
So
But
I don't know
think
if
they
they'll
set
give
the
it again.
bar, and God of War is pretty much the same too.
Right.
isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What is? I'm just curious what some of the features that they
Oh, what'd you say?
did. I was just curious, like, what was some of the features that they like that Naughty Dog did with Last of Us? Like, I haven't I haven't
What-
played any of these games. So.
Yeah, one of the ones that I like, for me, what worked really well was you can adjust the difficulty in way more ways than just easy, medium, hard. Like you can make the enemies at their hardest, but then put like the amount of ammo that's dropped like to easy. You can kind of differentiate. That was one of the big things that Last of Us Part 2 and Part 1 does that I thought was really cool.
Just exposing all those individual parameters. Yeah, one
Right.
of the things that I thought was really impressive was the ability to, or maybe this is in God of War. Well, I think it is in God of War, but I'm not sure to what extent it was in The Last of Us. But for people who are like legally blind, who have like very, very little vision, you can do high contrast modes. So you can like make the enemies bright red and everything in the environment gray, and then your allies are green. So you can like really, really easily differentiate all the different elements on screen if you have trouble seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's between Last of Us and God of War, me personally. But if anybody wants to throw Monkey Island in there, I'm all ears.
I haven't played it. I think I'm going to go God of War with the recency bias as well. Even though I haven't personally played it, but yeah.
You said Last of Us, Ben?
Yeah, Last of Us Part 1 for me.
Got it. Clams?
Last of Us.
Last of Us. And then Chris?
God of War.
God of War. All right, cool.
All right. So we have, next category is Best Community Support. So we have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 16, Fortnite, or No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky?
That's one that I'm looking at, but I'm also looking at Final Fantasy 16 or 15,
Yeah.
14. I can't read Roman numerals.
It's not Fortnite.
I got to give it to the former home team. I'm putting my chips on Bungie. The community team there does great work, so shout out.
That's a good pick, though.
I'll go No Man's Sky.
I'll go Final Fantasy 14. We're all over the board this time. Chris, what about you?
I'm gonna go Final Fantasy.
All right.
And Clams,
Easy
you
one.
picked which one did you pick, Clams?
No Man's Sky.
All right, so next we have Best Mobile Game. So we have Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy.
I hate card games, but
So,
Marvel
yeah.
Snap is awesome. I'm
Agreed.
blocking it.
Well, I like card games, but it is awesome. It's Marvel Snap.
Marvel Snap is the only one of these games that I played. Also, I never talked about it on the podcast, but I did buy the first season pass for Marvel Snap, which I never did.
Really?
Yeah, and then once that season was done in 2 weeks, I dropped the game entirely. I haven't played it since. I was like, 2 week seasons? Are you fucking kidding me? I can't pay $10 every 2 weeks. Are you
$10?
That's crazy.
Predatory. Oh my god.
That is crazy. 2 weeks for $10. That's
A season is 2 weeks. That's nuts.
They need their second dinner.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going Marvel Snap because you can kill Uncle Ben to make Spider-Man. So
you can.
Wow.
What?
Wow. That's crazy.
I gotta get that combo. So are we all Marvel Snap for this one?
And that is the first like definitive like across the
Slam
board.
dunk.
Yeah.
It better win, huh?
No one's going
Right.
for Diablo
Watch
Immortal.
Diablo Immortal. Right.
Right.
That honestly, that would be crazy. I feel like that'd be so crazy.
it can't be Diablo because they pissed everyone off.
That would be the first
why it
one
would
where
be so-
everybody would be like, boo.
Right. All right. So next category is Best Indie.
That's
Yep.
Neon White.
Cult
That's
of the
Neon White.
Lamb. Neon White. Sifu, Stray, or Tunic.
It might be Cult of the Lamb, but I'm going Neon White.
Cult of the Lamb was like a phenomenon.
I
feel
know.
Like everyone and their mom was playing Cult of the Lamb.
It's
But I don't
probably
know
Cult
if it
of the
will
Lamb.
win Best Indie. This is a hard one.
I am pretty confident that if a game wins this category, it will not win the best debut indie. However, I don't know which one Stray is going to win, so I'm going to vote for Stray again.
Doubling your chances.
Best indie for Stray though? I don't know.
I mean,
think
it's
that's a
not
little
the
bit of
best
a par.
indie, but in terms of like what we think is going to win, I think Stray is going to win as well.
I think it's gonna be.
Neon
looking
White
at-
should win.
Come on, Alfredo.
I'm looking at
agree with
Neon
me.
White or Cult of the Lamb, and I
Come
don't know
on.
which one to pick.
You should pick Cult of the Lamb, and then next time they both come up, we'll swap.
That's fair. Okay, I'm going
I
Cult
try
of
to
the
make an
Lamb.
agreement.
We'll trade.
Gentleman's trade. Yeah, I'm going Cult of the Lamb. It's fair.
I'm going Neon White.
Oh.
Okay.
Even though I don't think it's the best indie, but all right.
They just need to call that category the Devolver and Annapurna category.
Right.
I mean, Devolver games are fire, so it makes sense.
It's funny because 4 out of the 5 games on that category have publishers.
That was my
Yeah, that's
thought.
the
Like,
indie
are these
category.
even indie games?
Right. Yeah.
Indie just means
looking
small,
back.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, Pokemon wants to be an indie game. Like it literally, they said that in a Polygon interview this year. Is that they treat themselves like indie developers.
I'm sure they do.
Ain't it sad that all
With
those
so much
games run better on Switch than Pokemon?
I know.
It really is.
I don't know.
Well,
Every-
okay,
if it's not
Sifu
straight-
does not. Sifu doesn't. It
No,
runs
Sifu,
like trash.
it runs at 30. It runs at 30.
No, it
bad.
doesn't. It does not run
It
at
ran
30.
for me when I tried it.
It's trash. But anyway, best ongoing game. We got Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
Wait, how is this not the same exact
As-
question?
So the last one was best
The community.
community support. This is best ongoing.
I thought I went back in
game.
time for a second. I could've sworn we just
But yeah, multiple of these are the same game that we saw in the previous category. But
I'm gonna
now
go with-
what's the best ongoing game?
I'm going with Destiny 2 because it's the only actual video game here.
oh wow.
Scout's
I'll go with
fire.
I'm going with Destiny 2 because that's the only one where I feel like its expansions reach the mainstream.
I'm gonna go with Genshin Impact for this one.
And that's why you're on the FBI watch list.
Genshin Impact is the most tweeted about video game of 2022. So people love this game.
Where are those tweets coming from?
Hey, I don't know. These are just facts, okay? When you work for an esports company, you know things like this. So
I'm going
I'll go
with
Genshin.
Fortnite. No, I'm kidding. Destiny 2, of course. Voting for the former home team again. Total conflict of interest, and I wouldn't have voted for Destiny 2 if I still worked on it. But I don't anymore, so I'm going to vote for it.
Chris, what do you say?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm going with Fortnite. It's just like it just seems like
That's what I was gonna pick if I didn't pick Genshin.
Has Fortnite won in a while? I feel like it hasn't won in a little while.
I didn't it win Game of the Year like a long time ago. Did it?
No, I didn't win
Maybe
Game of the
not.
Year. But it
been a
I mean it's won awards before. I feel like it's been a while since I remember it's gotten awards, so it might be due.
Mm-hmm. Thomas, which one are you picking?
Oh, Destiny 2.
All right.
And so just make sure Clams, your Destiny 2.
Yep.
Chris is Fortnite, Ben is Destiny 2, your Genshin Impact, Alfredo.
Indeed.
Okay.
So next we have Games for Impact, which means it's for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
Ugh.
So we have a memoir.
Is it
Blue.
bad? Is it antisocial that I haven't played any of these games?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We got a Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Endling, Extinction is Forever, Hindsight, or I Was a Teenage Exocolonist.
I'm gonna go with the colon one.
The which one?
I was
I was a teenage exo.
I was a teenage exo colon.
The teenage one.
I love that phrase.
Colon one.
See, I've only played one game on this list,
Me
and
too.
honestly, I didn't get it. I liked As Dusk Falls. I don't know if it had a good social message.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, I didn't get any.
I don't
sort
know
of-
what I don't know what the takeaway from that game is.
Right.
I mean, don't hold up
Don't.
hotels,
Yeah, don't do robberies.
right? Like,
I think I'm gonna go Citizen.
Pretty low
Sleeper.
bar for this category.
yeah, I'm gonna go with a Memoir Blue.
I
yeah,
have seen Citizen Sleeper like everywhere. That's why I'm picking it.
I plan on playing that for the year's over, but
I don't
think
know.
God
What
help
it
me
is.
think
with that.
Dave Jackson told me about Citizen Sleeper. So
It's basically a book you're reading it the whole
yeah,
time.
I think I'm gonna go with that. I've heard good things about it. He's usually pretty good about that.
It's on Game Pass. If anybody wants to
Oh,
play it.
crap.
Pass.
Endling that has cute foxes on it.
Sure.
Might
Is
be
that your pick?
No, I'll stick with Citizen Sleeper.
I'm gonna go with I was a teenage exocolonist because blue hair.
Yep.
Emo.
Yep. You get it. You get it.
A memoir blues right there. I mean, not blue
A memoir
hair,
blue
but-
hair. No, she's got black hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's surrounded by.
It's like dark blue. It's like it's like navy.
It's around there. All right, next one. Okay, so we got best performance. So these are for actors, voice actors. So we have Ashley Birch from Horizon Forbidden West. We have Charlotte McBurney, who was Amicia in A Plague's Tale. We have Christopher Judge, who was Kratos in God of War. We have Manon Gage, who was in Immortality. And we have Sunny Suljic, who was Atreus in God of War Ragnarok.
All of these people look super horrible except for Christopher Judge. Like, I wouldn't.
What?
They all.
He's looking on point in that photo.
He's looking great.
I think the girl from Immortality looks fine. She looks like
that's what I'm saying.
what's her name? The girl from the chess show.
Wait. Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh,
you're right. You're right.
And
Anya
Anya Taylor.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor. Yeah,
Anya
her. She
Taylor-Joy,
looks like,
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
her. Like if you don't
Chess
have
show.
her, you get her.
She's
Knock
a
off
knockoff
Anya
on
Taylor-Joy.
Taylor-Joy.
Typecast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with her because I
Really?
feel like out of all
It's a
these
good pick.
performances, she had to do the most work.
Mm.
She had to be 4 different characters for 4
Spoilers.
different random
Spoilers.
movies. That's not a spoiler.
I guess it's not.
That's
a
the point. That's
spoiler.
the point of the game.
Yeah. You jumped
I'm
through
going
all the
Christopher Judge because he's funny.
I'm going Plague's Tale Requiem. So Charlotte, and I will be mad if she doesn't win.
Don't be.
Everyone will know.
They'll feel your wrath.
I'm gonna go with Ashley Birch because
Really?
Horizon might win something here.
They might
Dang,
have
we are
to
so
win
right
right
now.
I think it's gonna be Men on Gage though.
Who's that?
Who
Oh.
hasn't
Yeah,
voted?
that's-
Immortality.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
spread out. You
I
can't
think
go wrong.
Horizon. I think Horizon.
Amazing.
Oh boy,
That game was just voice acting, so
Yeah, she did talk to herself a lot. All right. Next category. We're almost done, guys. We're wrapping up. So next one we have best audio design. We have Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West.
I feel like it's always something like Gran Turismo. Like a
Really?
lot of
The best
subtle
audio?
sounds.
He's
I
right.
feel-
Mhm.
Yeah, it's always something like with a bunch of like lots
I
of.
think
subtle...
Forza won it last year, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Got to recognize that PlayStation's killing it with sound.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. I would go Horizon. Because it has to win something, and I feel like
But audio design of all things. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
weird one.
does
I
have
feel like
good
out of
audio
all
design.
these games, like that's the one I remember the audio experience the most. Going through that open world with headphones on, really good 3D audio there.
I think I'm gonna go God of War here, because with God of War they do have. Well, can't remember. Is there a soundtrack or something? Because the crescendos and what they do in the cutscenes with the sound.
I
and
don't
the
think
sounds
that
of
the
all the
music
different
it's-
weapons.
I don't think the music itself falls under this.
That would be a different
Sorry.
category, right?
That's a different category. This is more like in-game, like
In-game audio and sound design.
yeah, like sound
Hmm.
effects, like what the environmental sound is. This would be where 3D audio would be really important.
I still think I'm gonna go with it because all the weapons, very distinct sounds.
Mhm.
All the areas, very distinct sounds. Yeah, I'll go with it.
Oh man, I'm having a tough time with this one.
Yeah.
I will say, if Elden Ring wins this, it's sweeping everything.
Yeah, right.
Because there's no reason why it should win this award at all.
Yeah, I do think Elden Ring does have good sound design, but it's as good as it is bad in a lot of places.
It has Souls. To me, it has Souls audio design, or it's like it's good, but you get.
Yeah, I'm gonna say God of War as well.
And then there were two.
I'm going Gran Turismo.
Yeah, nice.
That's really good.
Unanimous.
I think that might win because that usually the racing
chance.
games usually sweep that award up.
All right, next one. Now we have
There you
best score and music, exactly what we were talking about. So this is actually for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. So we have Plague's Tale, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I gotta say this.
Ooh.
Screw Metal Hellsinger because it took the spot that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles should have been in.
What? Metal Hellsinger has some great music.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but
This is the only
Teenage
thing that
Mutant
Metal
Ninja
Hellsinger
Turtles.
could possibly won.
Yeah,
It's the only
honestly.
thing it could have won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm gonna go Elden Ring here. That soundtrack is a banger.
Me too. And also, I think I think in some ways it comes down to the way the impactful use of the music. Because if I had to choose one game for best score design, which should be its own category, like really making your score interactive, it's always going to go to Plague Tale. Those games have incredibly intricate interactive scores. But Elden Ring has the boss music. You enter the boss arena and the music goes, and you do that 30 times, and it gets lodged in your head, and that's a memory. That's a core memory, right?
That's a great point.
I'm sure there's also some of that in God of War Ragnarok. These very poignant moments, but Elden Ring I think wins through a repetition of those epic boss battle moments.
Xenoblade should be a contender here, but I don't think they're not going to give it.
It's a little
fair.
generic. I think Xenoblade's a little generic.
No, I disagree. I think the other I played 2 and 2's music kind of generic. This one was on a completely they stepped up completely from an audio perspective. I always have my headphones listening to this because the audio in this game is just amazing. But it's not going to win this.
No.
Well, now I'm split because before Ben said that, I was going to go with the Plague's Tale because that music is that's the one I remembered the most out of all of these, honestly. Besides Metal Hellsinger, I guess. But you're making a lot of sense. I think I gotta go Elden Ring.
Although if a Plague Tale was going to win something, it would be this one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's the caveat. I do think it could win this because it, like you said, it does have really good sound, and you can honestly say it probably is not going to win anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. We still got some left.
I'm gonna go Metal Hellsinger because it's the only one with a genre of music in its name.
Right.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's in the title.
And
it's
that
the
soundtrack
only
is
thing this
great.
could. It's the only thing this game could win.
Hey, I'm sorry, Chris. What was yours?
It's the same Metal Hellsinger.
Got it.
All right. Next. Okay, we got Best Art Direction. So for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation, we have Elden Ring, God of War, for Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, or Stray.
This is a tough category.
It really is.
Yeah, it's
Every
not Stray.
single game here has its own case.
It's not Stray.
I
was
think
looking at
I think
Stray.
Stray could win.
I'm looking-
I honestly think Stray
yeah.
could win this one.
I'm looking at Stray hard.
I think Stray wins this if it doesn't win any of those indie awards. And this would be the caveat
it
award
could
it
win
gets.
multiple.
I think the other 4
This-
games have much better art direction. than
I
Stray.
agree. I'm just saying, based on what Stray's been nominated for, and how, I think it's gonna win something. And this is
Although I guess I could say it for every single one of these, like you said, because I'm
They're all
looking at
very good.
Horizon as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're all very good. I do think Horizon and God of War are the least distinctive on the list.
Sure.
I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like God of
And
War is
I wanna
last
give
for me on this.
I want to give points to Scorn, but I think its singularity of vision is oppressive, and that's gonna backfire on it in this category. So I'm gonna go with Elden Ring.
I'm gonna go Stray.
I'm Elden Ring as well.
I'm gonna go Horizon.
There is no best graphics category, is there?
No.
Nope. Just our direction.
Yeah. I'll go with Elden Ring minus that final boss. But yeah.
There should really be an outstanding technical achievement category.
I thought there
It's like-
was, but
Is there?
I guess
Okay.
they jumped it. I think they bundled it in this year.
Okay.
Did anybody say Stray?
I did.
You did, okay. And then you said Elden Ring, right, Ben?
Yes.
Got it.
All right, so next one is Best Narrative. We have
God
A
of
Plague's
War.
Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, or Immortality.
This is a very hard category.
I got my pick.
I don't
I'm picking.
I don't know
Plague's
why
Tale.
Elden Ring's on this list.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
If it wins, it might win.
If it wins, then it's winning everything.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't
But
even be
but
on
it can
this
though.
list.
It can. I can see a world where that happens. Yeah, but I'm going Plague's Tale, hands down, best narrative that
For the
I've
record.
experienced this year.
Elden
for the
Ring has
record.
one of the best narratives in the game this year.
What?
You heard it here from the narrative designer in the group.
Wow.
Elden Ring has one of the best narratives this year, but you have to dig for it.
Exactly.
And that's why
We
it
hate
won't
that.
win. But why it's one of the best is because you don't have to dig for it in a movie. You don't have to dig for it in a TV show. That's how God of War and Horizon Forbidden West work.
Mhm.
Right.
Only a game is going to make you dig for it. That's why it's one of the best narratives this year.
Well, even in
games.
that context, Ben, I still don't think it's the best because Immortality is a better version of that in terms of digging for a narrative.
It's a good point. Immortality, you can make the same case
Yeah.
where it's but Immortality is, it's only the narrative. But yeah,
That's fair.
you could say the same thing about that game.
Yeah, all Immortality has is the narrative, and it's pretty good. You get 3 solid movies in that game. Like
Really
I
good.
would
I've
watch
watched all
those
3 of those.
movies.
I need to play that because I played Telling Lies. I
Mm.
think it's by this.
Mhm.
Is it by
Yep,
the
Yeah.
same-
Yes,
yep,
it is.
Sam
It's
Barlow?
on Netflix now. They have Immortality
it?
on Netflix. Yeah, you can access it on your phone.
Oh. Yeah. I think God of War is going to win this.
What are you picking?
God of War.
God of War. Got it.
I'm also picking God of War, by the way.
I'm God of War as well.
All right.
Oh, Clem, what did you have? I'm
I
sorry.
was God of War.
Okay.
Is that unanimous?
Not me.
No,
I
he is
don't think
Plague
so.
Tale.
Plague Tale, which has a
Plague
chance.
Tale.
I feel like Plague Tale is like it's gonna win something. And I feel like this might be the
I
one.
think this could be it. And it is a better narrative than God of War. You heard it here first.
I actually agree with you on that.
I wish I could run
It-
it on
it
my
is.
970.
All right, last 2 categories, guys. So the penultimate category is Best Game Direction. So this is for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
That's Elden Ring.
That's
You
Yeah.
got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon, Immortality, or Stray.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, Elden Ring.
It pains me to say it, but yeah.
What do you
Are you a
want to win?
hater, Chris?
Yeah, I am. I'll just leave.
It's okay, I am too. I am too.
No, but I can appreciate what they were trying to do with it, and like the more I read about the director and like the game director and all that stuff, I was like, okay,
Mhm.
Every game's not for everybody.
no,
Right. But I'm with you though, Chris. Elden Ring ain't all that. But we have for our last category, Game of the Year. Which one of these is all that? So we have A Plague's Tale, Requiem, Elden Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, or Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, just to remind you guys, this one is worth more points than
Elden
all
Ring.
other categories. Clams doesn't care.
I gotta say, respect to Xenoblade for even getting this far. I'm so happy it got
Hey,
nominated.
that's fair. That's fair.
It's not gonna
Nintendo
win,
paid
but I'm so
someone,
happy it's
I'm
nominated.
sure.
It's
I'm just
the,
kidding.
oh man, I love this game.
I
Still
want
on
to
part
bring this
two.
up. Oh, sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm still on part 2 of someone breaking down Xenoblade Chronicles
Oh,
on YouTube. It's like 2 40-minute like breakdowns of the story. I was like, okay,
As somebody
it's crazy.
who hated 2 and never played 1, don't even watch those. 3 is its own thing pretty much.
Okay.
3 is its own thing until you get to the end, and then it connects to the other ones, and then you feel like, oh well, now I feel ready to go through the. It's like the perfectly built sequel where it's like you don't have to go through the other ones to enjoy it. Because I hated Xenoblade 2, but now I really want to play it. So
Interesting. Yeah, I never really got into same thing. I'm gonna try Xenoblade 3 soon. I just
This
don't
is-
know if it's Game of the Year worthy.
I'm just happy it's here. It doesn't have to win.
This is like a free
um,
space on a bingo card because it's Elden Ring.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's
Like,
that easy.
my mind says Elden Ring, but I think they might just give it to God of War because we've seen this before.
That's
Everybody
true.
thought Red Dead was gonna win, and then God of War won it.
yeah.
I feel
That's
like God
true.
of War speaks more to the people who vote on these things.
The one thing I would say is that Jeff Keighley did show the trailer for Elden Ring. Like he
So
was
he's
super
biased.
hyped. So he's biased.
Right.
He's
Jeff
gonna be-
Keighley's not voting, right?
How many?
It's his
Who knows
award
how many
show. I'm
votes he
sure he's
gets?
not voting.
Like they were really excited to show the game off
Yeah,
at the Game Awards.
right.
I'm not saying that God of War isn't going to do it, but like I've
Jeff-
heard a lot of people saying like up and down about the story of God of War, like Ragnarok. So
Mhm.
I do like the idea that Jeff Keighley just sort of sits on high, choosing which games succeed and fail.
he
That's
does
an override button.
I'm talking on my butt here a little bit because I don't have that much data to back this up, but I'm pretty sure that games don't often win both Game of the Year and Best Direction. Typically, that's a split vote of the best 2 games of the year. Although last year, Deathloop won both.
Right.
Last
Though it
was a
didn't
weird
win.
year though.
Yeah, though it didn't win that many other awards. It won both of those. So I kind of feel like one of these is going to go to God of War. One of them is going to go to Elden Ring because best game direction it is almost a de facto game of the
Well,
year.
see, Elden Ring took a lot of direction. Like that, you needed to have a good director on that game. God of War did
George R. R.
too,
Martin.
but I think Elden Ring was more complex. So I think that could win. I definitely think that could win director. I think that has a higher chance of winning director, but I think it still edges out God of War here, just because of what it is.
I also think, and this is kind of a part of a larger conversation, but Elden Ring, and this is not necessarily the recency bias argument, which comes up all the time when we get to this time of the year. This is more Elden Ring has had time for people to sour on it, and for a backlash to foment in some ways from the people who I think there's a sizable contingent of people in the game space that play these games and don't really click with them, but can still appreciate them for what they are. And those kinds of people might go for God of War because they click with it better. I think there's also a sizable contingent of people in the game space that resent the success that From Software has had and try to rub their games in the dirt for no good reason. And I've seen a lot of that kind of backlash with Elden Ring. And you typically see it with the difficulty argument, but sometimes you see it rear up in the very muddled accessibility argument with Elden Ring, which is like, this is part of why I say that like accessibility doesn't have a firm definition the way we talk about it right now in games. So I could see Elden Ring being sort of a victim of its own incredible success this year, where people are just so sick of From Software and the success that the Soul series and the kind of acclaim that the Soul series have had for so long that they want to vote against it despite it. There's probably a core contingent in the voting audience that still likes the Souls games enough to push this one. But does it surmount God of War? I don't know. I haven't played God of War all the way through, so I don't really have a firm enough grasp on how good that game is. But I'm a little split on this one. I think I'm still going to go with Elden Ring though.
Just to, I remember I just did a little look up. Apparently, only 2 times since the Game Awards started where Best Game Direction didn't also go to Game of the Year. It was
really?
2019.
Oh, so literally the opposite of what I said.
Yep.
So you really were talking out of your butt. There you go.
But the only times that happened was with Death Stranding and Sekiro. Death Stranding won Game Direction, and Sekiro won Game of the Year. And then 2021 last year, It Takes Two won, and Deathloop won Best Game.
Oh, that's right. It Takes Two won Game of the Year. I totally forgot
But
about that.
every other time, it's been the game that wins that direction category also wins Game of the Year.
Got it.
And it's a weird. So I think that Elden Ring, you think of the games that have fit that, which is Breath of the Wild, which is the original God of War, which is there's another one, Witcher 3, all these games, like I feel like Elden Ring kind of fits in that mold where it is.
That's true. Yeah.
It was the game that you've been talking about all year long.
Yeah.
I think it had its moment, and the moment is still here. I don't think the moment is passed it by. I think God of War is a great game in and of itself. I think it is too much of the same for it to win again. I think the God of War 2018 was a revolution. It was completely different. We've never really seen an action game of that kind of ilk that was doing everything it was doing. Now it's just a continuation of God of War 2018, which to me is a great thing. But I think for this award, that doesn't do it any favors.
Yeah, I agree. I do think there is something to be said with like when we think about Horizon, which is a sequel, and God of War is a sequel. Horizon, in my eyes, failed at the sequel it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be everything we wanted and more. And it did, but it didn't really do enough. God of War did enough to differentiate itself from the first game. And that's why I'm struggling a bit, because I think it's a bit of like which one is more popular plays into this one. And God of War would be the safe bet, but like you were saying, Elden Ring was massive. Everyone and their mom was talking about Elden Ring.
Yep.
So
like my mom knows what Elden Ring is.
Literally.
Like I would have like From Software went from niche to mainstream.
Yeah.
In a year. Mm-hmm. And they've already won Game of the Years in the past, but it's like Elden Ring is something completely different than anything they've released. And I think God of War, as much as I like it, is more of the same.
Yeah. Because Elden Ring also, it had huge hype, way more than God of War, and it delivered.
And I can honestly say that for all the other nominees as well, besides Elden Ring. Except Stray.
Except Stray.
What if that one?
Please no.
Well, that's what I'm not voting for. I'm voting for Elden Ring. I thought about it for a minute to be funny. I thought
like
about
this one weighs a lot more than the other ones. I wouldn't use this.
Be careful, Clem's.
I know.
Maybe Stray will sweep. That'd be crazy, right?
What?
Please no.
It pulled the Titanic.
I think I'm going to lock in Elden Ring.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Ben, have you convinced yourself it's God of War? Or are you rolling with?
Oh no! I said Elden Ring after my whole spiel.
Despite all the great points I made about God of War, it's definitely going to be Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's definitely Elden Ring.
Claims your Elden Ring as well.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you said it from the start.
I said it immediately.
Also, if they had a biggest tree category, we
That goes
know
to
where
Stray.
goes
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
that tree was big and straight.
I'm not
compared
gonna
to
lie.
that.
I'm not gonna lie. There are a bunch of big trees in Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I was about to say, there's a big ass sword right there too on that
Yeah.
cover. It's like-
But there's no tree though. Or is
Not
that a tree
there,
in the
but
background?
there's some big trees. There's some
They
big
got
trees.
Is that a
Yakuza.
blue
I
tree?
mean, it's a toss up. That one's a toss up.
Yeah, if it's tree of the year, I'm going Xenoblade 3.
It's biggest. The category is biggest tree though, and it definitely goes to Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But how's the quality of that tree?
All right. I think so. That's a unanimous Elden Ring. Is that what I'm hearing
Yeah.
for for Game of the Year? Alrighty.
That's right.
And with that, we are almost wrapped up. We have a surprise category.
That's
Well,
right.
it's not a
Oh.
surprise because I told you about it, so not a surprise. But we have an additional category worth even more than Game of the Year. It's worth the same amount of points. But we're gonna go around and we are going to predict what we think might be announced and or shown at the Game Awards, since it's not only about the awards, it's about new game trailers, new game releases, game announcements, and all of that. So we're going to go around and say what we think is going to be announced there. And it can't be, of course, what's already been announced, that they're going to show more. I think they said, what have they said already? They said they're going to show some stuff, so you can't pick the same as what they already announced, okay? It's got to be a little bit out there, but still, it can't be a safe bet, basically, right? All right, so maybe we should just go in the order of the squares, or I'll even take volunteers, because if somebody takes yours, you can't go.
Me.
All right, Thomas, go for it.
First, before we go, we cannot say anything that we know is going to be there. So,
Yeah.
One, we already know Jedi Fallen Order sequel is going to be there, so that's off the board.
Mhm.
I'm going with Elden Ring DLC.
That was a good pick. All right, Elden
It could
Ring
just be some horse cosmetics, but I feel like we're getting something.
Now, what if it's do you have to pay for it? Get a little bit more specific.
Oh,
Will
come
it be
on.
free? Will it be free? You gotta pay for it. What's the deal, Thomas? You can't just say there's gonna be DLC.
What? You're the only person imposing these.
Well, hey, I make a
So wait,
point,
do I get no point? Do I get no points if I get that part wrong?
You get half points.
Wow. Oh man,
I make it too easy.
Wow. Well, I mean, I would say free. 'Cause I feel like From Software is the one. No, it's gonna be paid because all their other DLCs paid for. It's gonna be paid.
Okay.
Dang, that's a
DLC
really-
announced in the same year that it was released. I
feel
guess
like
crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I
Some
feel like
people do
that's
it
pretty
before
normal.
they even release the game. So,
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty normal actually.
all right, who else wants to go?
I got a not a prediction, but almost a guarantee. Hideo Kojima is going to come out dressed as a handmaiden from The Handmaid's Tale, and tell everyone that he is working on a game called Kettle Skier Crawled.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Kettle's Gear Crawlet.
Kettle Skiers Crawled,
I
and
love it.
and he is going to then abscond with someone's award and run away.
Oh, God.
It's almost like Kojima was like feeding you that information like directly.
This
Hey,
is
I
not,
don't
by the
know.
way,
I
this
can't tell you where I heard it from,
This
but
is not a prediction. This is basically a guarantee.
basically a guarantee.
Like, we're not listening to Taylor. We're listening to Kojima
This
himself.
is Kojima
right now.
speaking through me.
Hey, I'm just saying, if that happens, I think double points are in order. Maybe even
gonna-
triple.
I'm gonna say Nintendo.
I need to take you to if you win that. I need to take you down to the lottery. We need to.
Yeah, right.
We need to make use of that talent, man.
I'm locking it in.
All right, locked in. Thomas, I hope you recorded it. You got it locked in.
I just said Kojima does something wild.
All right. I'll go next. Okay, I'm picking from two. And I want to say, I think I'm going to go with Naughty Dog is going to announce 2 projects. And one of them will be Factions. I'm not sure what the other one's going to be, but they will show off 2 different
It's
projects.
going to be Uncharted 4 remake.
It might be an Uncharted spin-off. I don't think
already
it will
happened. This is funny.
be. But one of them, they will finally show off Factions, but they'll also show off something else, like an unannounced game.
Good prediction.
I'm hoping that they show Spider-Man 2.
That would be a good one.
That's a good one.
Trailer or gameplay? It's got to be gameplay, right? Because they showed the trailer for it.
Yeah, I think it's got to be gameplay.
And here's the kicker: will you be able to play as both Miles and Peter in the game?
I thought that's what they said, right?
Is that already confirmed?
I think
but
so.
It's not co-op.
Nice,
though.
good
the only
prediction.
thing.
Well, the trailer had them both like doing.
Yeah,
something
the trailer
at
has
the
them
same
both in there,
time.
but yeah.
But we don't know. It's nothing. I don't think they confirmed anything about the game. The only thing we know for sure is you're gonna be able to play as the symbiotic Spider-Man.
I didn't even know that.
Because Venom's in the game.
Yeah,
so.
Venom's in the game.
Okay.
Voiced by
And there's no call.
what's his name?
Tom Hardy?
Tony Todd.
Tony Todd.
The guy who Candyman, the original Candyman.
Oh, yeah, that is Tony Todd.
I like that.
Great voice.
Specific. See, and Tom's over here complaining about picking between free or paid DLC. Seeing people are just giving me the specifics. I love it.
It just took me off guard, is all.
All right, Ben. You're the only one left.
Okay. Well, I had one that was for my heart, but this one I'm gonna go with because I think it could actually happen. Valve will announce Half-Life Alex.
Oh, that's what you
Half-Life 3?
Half-Life 3.
Half-Life 3 on every platform, including Nintendo Switch.
No. I was gonna say they will announce that Half-Life Alex is coming to PSVR 2, and that it will have new content. New content.
Ooh,
never before seen.
good one.
Might be a DLC, might be an expansion. Probably it's just going to be new guns.
That's fair. Those are some good picks. Okay. Loving it. All right. Well, if you guys are correct, you will get the bonus points. And of course, we will find out next week whether or not, who out of all 5 of us was the best predictor. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. You want to take us out, Thomas?
Yeah, pray for all of our picks. Hopefully I win, but I'm biased. But thank you for watching or listening to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. Again, you can listen to us on your favorite podcast service. Watch us live on Twitch and watch us later on YouTube when you get the time. Again, you can leave a like, a review, a comment, anything to help support the show. You can even email us at therealdukesofgaming@gmail.com. Have it read live on air. Hit the bell as well to get notifications on when we release our latest videos. We post everywhere, every week. So make sure you start your week right with the Dukes of Gaming. And before we go, I just want to thank you, Chris, for joining us. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate that, man.
Hey, this is awesome. I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a lot of fun. And good luck to everyone on their predictions.
Yeah, and if I can't win, I hope Chris wins.
Oh yeah, I'm probably
I'm with that.
the worst.
We can agree with that. And of course, Chris, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at TC1H1D. Hive now at 1H1D. Finally got the handle I wanted, but that's okay.
Hey.
And we stream our stuff, our playthroughs on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D as well. So and we are part of the QTV network, so we're on there as well. So quitthebuild.com/network. So yeah.
Cool. Sounds great. Well, thank you, Chris, and thank you all the Dukes for joining as well. We will see y'all next week with some more hot takes. Until then, I bid thee farewell.